with Forest Meadows Homes and Land. If you've been waiting for the right time to buy or sell, now is the time.
They're expecting a Trump bump is coming in real estate. Timing is everything, and that time is now.
Who you have on your side makes all the difference. With our expertise, local knowledge, and proven track record, we'll show you what makes us different and how we stand out. And if you're not sure if you're ready to buy or sell, call us. We do free consultations, and we'll be glad to help you decide when is the right time for you.
Call us today, 334-322-0662, and let's make this happen.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is a Trump country. We live in the southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid.
Fat broads and horse-faced lesbians.
Shut up, silly woman.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy.
It's not just about sex.
Hold on to your butts.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the Friday edition of the program. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Both Eddie Bader and Craig Monger here, like usual. Good seeing you two gentlemen. How y'all doing today?
Pretty good. How you doing, bro?
I'm all right. Life's good.
I'm spectacular.
Spectacular?
Spectacular.
Wow.
Because it's Friday. Actually, I'm not. I was running out of time. I really should have picked up an energy drink on the way in here, but, you know.
Okay.
If I fall asleep.
Do you like sugar-free Red Bull? I'll give you an extra one. I got.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In between breaks. All right, I'll do it right now.
I'll do it. Now, like, hey, it's Friday. 272-9228 if you want to. Whatever you want to do. Here you go.
You know, the problem with Red Bulls is I started drinking them when I was like around 14, and it was always with vodka.
Oh, no.
And so anytime I taste Red Bull, I taste the vodka for some reason.
Oh, no. Well, I'm... Give it back then.
No. I didn't say I liked it. It's a way of cheating my sobriety.
There you go. Well, so where do we even begin? Breaking news. Trump and his inauguration?
Yeah.
It's going to be indoors now.
Ooh.
Because the winter weather is going to be so extreme. They're like, yeah, we're moving it to the Capitol Rotunda, which might give it its own unique, spectacular sort of event quality. Like, that Rotunda is, number one, beautiful.
Yeah.
And if they do it right in there, I think this could be a very unique inauguration and swearing in. I know they wanted to do the big thing with the parades and all this other stuff, but yeah, I think inside's going to work out just fine.
And also the chance of another ear situation is diminished significantly.
Yeah.
But although I think it would be cool to see Trump's hair blowing in like blizzard-style winds.
Yeah.
While he gives a very...
But no snow lands on him because his aura keeps it melted at about a few inches from him, actually. Yeah. I think that's how it would work. It's like my final form.
Imagine him in like just a really thick white winter coat with, you know, the kind with fur on the hood.
Oh, yeah.
And him just getting up there, raising his fists, and just that would be iconic. But I think the Rotunda will work too.
I'm going Super Saiyan. Ah! Anyway.
It's cold outside.
Wait, did Eddie get the Dragon Ball Z reference?
No.
Oh, okay. You were laughing at it, though.
You were being silly.
Yeah, I was being silly.
Just enjoying you being silly.
Also, I know Eddie's happy about this. The Supreme Court upheld the so-called TikTok ban, the ban or sell sort of thing.
Yeah.
They got to sell or change ownership in order to not be banned. The way it's enforced is through like Google and Apple through the app stores. So if you already have it, the TikTok app installed, it's still probably going to work.
I understand it'll still work. They just can't do updates. So
I don't know.
I got a feeling that'll change over time.
Yeah, but Trump
ironically enough, I was watching TikTok when they announced the ban.
And I don't use TikTok. Craig, you use TikTok?
No.
Yeah, you use TikTok?
Yeah.
Why?
Some of the best videos ever. And honestly, I get news on TikTok and then can go find it, where a lot of people haven't reported it yet.
Oh, sure.
I feel like X and TikTok are probably pretty equivalent in that regard.
X is really up
probably
its
could
game.
be, but from me and in my simple mindedness, ooh, funny video. Ooh, news. Let me go check that out.
Well, see,
funny video.
well, the thing is, funnily enough, Facebook, Instagram, and even Twitter, they sort of took a huge bite out of TikTok when they started doing the reels.
Oh yeah,
the
that's
same
really
way.
why I thought one of the big reasons Elon Musk bought Twitter, I thought he would come back with the reels, and there's some, but not. I thought there'd be a huge push.
Well, actually, funnily enough, though, it's kind of boring because most of the reels that you see on X are just like screen recordings of a TikTok. So it's
there you go.
Right.
We'll see.
But I will say this, and I told you last night, Craig, or yesterday, that the TikTok algorithm this week, since they know they're gone, it's been on fire.
Can you talk about that one video?
Yeah, because it's out there. You'll click on one, and it'll be this Asian fella, and he says, "Hello, I have been watching you for quite some time, and since we will no longer be together, I must tell you a few things. Your uncle, he is gay. You need to get out more often. Quit sitting in front of the couch." I mean, it's just hysterical.
Oh my God!
It goes on and on
And what's this Red Note thing? I'm so behind. Like everyone's talking about Red Note now.
I did hear that. I didn't know what that was either.
And how apparently there's like some like Chinese people are becoming Nazis on this Red Note
Yeah,
thing?
Red Note's an alternative Chinese app, and it's high up in the App Store. People are jumping from TikTok to another Chinese app. Just be like, you're not stopping us.
Yeah.
I like my Chinese
I
sponsorship.
don't care who entertains me. I just enjoy being entertained.
But the funniest thing is apparently Red Note is concerning because I've seen reposts from Red Note, and it's all just Asians doing Nazi stuff. Like there was this Asian lady singing that Erica song, you know, "Ow,
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And she's doing the whole thing, and I'm like, wait, what is happening over in China? This is my hometown. What are we doing here?
Chinese Nazis.
I've never heard of such.
That's
I don't want to have to. Well, I guess we'll have to get some more Nazi scalps.
One more thing about TikTok. I will say this about, and there are a lot of people that they get their money off TikTok. My algorithm has found my sympathy, and now you'll have TikToks that show up, and it'll be someone, and it says, "Stay with me for 60 seconds. I have stage 4 cancer, or I have this, and this is the way I can bring in income." And man,
wow.
It's tough. And but
boring. Next.
I tried that one time. I was like, come on, I'm here for the fun. And the next one was even worse. I was like, okay, I'm being told to do this.
I think the TikTok ban is stupid. I think no offense, I think TikTok is stupid.
It's just it's as stupid as video.
Well, see, the thing is, I tried to download it like several years ago, and I get it, and because everyone was doing it, I was looking, it was like funny video, horror, funny video, horror, and then I was just like, okay, I'm done.
There's a lot of that.
I'm a married man. I don't need.
Yeah, I don't get the horror stuff as much on TikTok, and I guess just my algorithm. I get more of that on the X thing. There's people that send me things on there.
Well, you can block. See, the thing is, I didn't want to take the time to learn how to block or fix the algorithm. I'm like, listen, if I go to YouTube and get all the funny reels that I want, or Facebook or Instagram is wild.
You're not kidding now. Instagram's got
Instagram. I get the most racist reels sent to me on Instagram, and I'm like, wait, is Zuck even aware that this is happening? Because this was like months ago, and I was just like, okay.
But for them to ban it, I think it's ridiculous. Because
It's absurd.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Well, it's the same line we've been hearing for a long time, that we have to do this in America because of the bad guys over there. We have to have a Leviathan state here in America because of the Soviet Union. And so we got to fight fire with fire. Okay, the Soviet Union's gone. Well, maybe we need to take on the Russians again. So Trump's tied in with Russia now. And the latest thing is that Elon does whatever the Chinese say. That's what's coming from the left. So it's always like, you're just a puppet of a foreign power and entity, and thus that gives us justification as the United States federal government to infringe upon your rights and take away what you are allowed to see and do. That said, if somebody could do a true deep dive expose, like you just on X or anywhere else with a big platform, say, here's how the TikTok algorithm works and why it's bad for you. Get that out there to people. Like, not sensationalize it, like actually have the hard facts. Because it is pretty well known that what Chinese TikTok, like in actual China, is very different.
Same in Jamaica. You know, when I went to Jamaica, I put the TikTok on my iPhone there from Jamaica. Completely different system, completely different algorithm.
Right. Well, no, there are days where I'm like, I just think everything on this phone here is bad for you.
Oh, it's the devil.
Yes. Like, and it grabs your attention. It's always there, kind of the situation. Like, look at me.
Yeah.
Check this new thing out.
Yeah.
And it's useful. It is very useful for efficiently working, looking stuff up, doing all sorts of things with it. But the amount of distraction that is constantly there, like it's unnerving. And then you get to these apps that really harvest that short attention span sort of thing, and it is very addictive. I'm not acting like I'm holier than thou.
Yeah,
I'm addicted to this stuff too.
You're not above it. Nobody is.
No, it does grab you, and you're like, and even when it's not that great, it's mindless. And they always get me with cat videos. It's like, look at this hilarious or dog videos.
I remember, I don't even have that in my algorithm anymore. I remember that lured me in, and then they started changing, Joey.
Oh, really?
That's how they lure you in with the cat.
So people dressed up like cats?
I've seen some of them.
That is how they lure you in. It's like, here's a funny little animal video, and then all of a sudden you're getting into like Chinese Nazis or something like that.
The Chinese Nazi blows me away.
Or your random playlist is playing you Chappelle. I know it's Chapel Room, but I'm going to keep calling it Chappelle Room. It starts playing you lesbian pop music in the middle of your workout, and you're like, well, this is very catchy, and then it's stuck in your head all week. And you're like, I don't know. I think I'm going through my own identity crisis. I'm starting to question everything. Like, let me put on some Melissa Etheridge and Four Non Blondes and go back to the 90s when things seemed a little...
You could bring back some L7 if you want to.
L7, is that a girl?
Yeah, very much so. Kurt Cobain's, I think, wife was in that band.
Like Courtney Love?
Yeah, she was there.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of songs getting stuck in your head, my kids were watching Pete's Dragon, and I hadn't seen that in forever. And there's that song, it's a brazzle dazzle day. It's been in my head for days. But in my
oh boy,
no, there are true earworms where it's like, that's not what I normally listen to, but dadgummit, that's catchy, and it will not go away. It's just hitting those reptilian patterns.
Oh yeah, that's a funny thing about TikTok. There's so much TikTok music that I've never, the video is one thing, but you hear the music in the background, and all of a sudden I start to hear that, and all of a sudden I hear it on pop radio.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's what's so crazy about because for music I exclusively use the YouTube Music app, and
likewise
for videos I just use YouTube. Mm-hmm. So I'll be going through the reels on YouTube, and then when I switch back over to my YouTube app, there's an entire section called Songs Heard in Reels. So you can go and listen to full songs of music that you heard, and it can be infuriating because you're trying to find something and you never can. But that's it definitely has to be. It's like alcohol in that regard. It has to be a master-servant relationship. Otherwise,
I guess our point is we're all addicted. All Americans, all people, like just human beings hooking up to this stuff. And I think the ban's stupid. I think it should. I think there will be a deal done. Everybody freaking out about it. I know, maybe you're making thousands of dollars a month, and
I would be a lot more.
You'd be quite upset, but I don't think it should happen. That said, other ridiculous things came out today. I'm looking at the Twitter account of our half-dead President Biden.
Is he still here?
Yeah, he says, we're heading towards an oligarchy. I'm like, Joe, you are the oligarchy.
Thank you.
Like Bernie Sanders talking to Scott Basson. What do you think of all the wealth? Are we heading towards an oligarchy? Bernie, you have 3 houses because you played the game. You're a member of an exclusive club with only 100 people in it. You're part of the oligarchy, jackass, despite... Well, I love socialism. Mm-hmm. I love all this stuff. No, you're part of the problem. I think I compared him to the folks who were like... going over the Soviet Union while the Holodomor is happening, but they're living it up, having a great time in Moscow, so... They've seen the future, and it works there in the Soviet Union. Meanwhile, have you looked around the rest of the country, and maybe you're a useful idiot being marched around a Potemkin village. That said, Biden threw out another doozy today on Twitter.
Oh?
He says, today I'm affirming that I have long believed, and what 3/4 of states have ratified, the 28th Amendment is the law of the land, guaranteeing all Americans equal rights and protections under the law, regardless of their sex. President Biden declares the Equal Rights Amendment is now the law of the land, guarantees all equal rights and protections under the law, regardless of sex. And God bless Elon Musk and Community Notes.
Yeah. I'm actually writing this story as we speak.
Okay.
Yeah, because I covered this like a month ago, whenever it was sort of rumored that he was going to be trying to like force the archivist to ratify this, and Steve Marshall, our Attorney General, a bunch of other people like, nah, like that's just straight up illegal. You can't do that.
And I'm loving like the real time reactions. Molly Hemingway, I'm sure y'all have seen her on Fox and whatnot, writing for the Federalist. Sir, this is not how the Constitution works. Dementia is not a magic ticket to become a dictator that asserts constitutional amendments into existence. Like, I guess they're just gonna like keep saying all the ridiculous things on the way out the door.
Why not?
Because he's got 3 days?
Yeah.
Counting today? It's just another add to of like how absurd this whole thing is. By the way, did y'all see the launch yesterday for SpaceX?
Yeah, didn't something go wonky?
Well, they successfully caught the first stage booster again,
right?
Which is really cool to watch. But then, the Starship, the upper stage, broke up. What did they call it? A rapid, unscheduled disassembly.
Yeah.
Why are you saying what do they call it? Like we're rocket scientists.
Disassemble.
I have no idea.
Well, it was a funny term to me. It's like rapid, unscheduled disassembly
it didn't blow up.
in the atmosphere. And some of the images of it, people in Turkey had a really good point of view, and videos became viral very quick. It's alarming. You're like, what is that barrage of missiles or whatever flying across? And then you see it, and you're like, that's actually one of the most beautiful, insane things I've ever seen.
Well, you could see how you could get hypnotized just watching that.
Right.
As it's coming at you, you just sucked in.
Right. And then Elon very quickly is like, success isn't guaranteed, but we're always ready to provide entertainment. And they already had rockets ready to go like an hour or something later. Like, so this is part of the whole program that you're going to fail every once in a while you're testing out these advanced rockets. But it's great to see Blue Origin in the game now and so many others jumping in. And I think what's cool is Elon himself is actually promoting the other companies and the other launches. Because he's like, the more the better. If we're going to achieve what
sharing technology at the end,
I would like to achieve, being a spacefaring species, a multi-planet species, it's going to take all of the above to get us there. Coming up later, I won't jump into it just now. This is a op-ed at the Post Millennial. Life in a war zone made me desist from gender transition. What will it take for others to buck the harmful idea of gender ideology? And it is an absolutely poignant and a little bit crazy of a write-up, but I think it's right on the money. Might have to get into that in just a second. Also, the New York Times is just now figuring out that the guy at OMB, Trump's guy, Russ Vought, is poised to expand power of White House budget office. We knew that like a year ago, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for pointing this out. The New York Post is now pointing out today the left is now more unpopular worldwide than any time since the Cold War. So I think that's a, hopeful sign. We shall see. And then I didn't get to this yesterday. At the local level, Coach Tuberville wins Dothan Chamber 2026 Alabama governor's race straw poll.
Oh, interesting.
Huh. And so the rumors are still out there, right? And Coach himself said, never say ever, never about anything.
Never say never. Sorry. It's Peach Dragon. It's Fightful Goes West. Being a father's rough game.
Don't make me start playing Red Wine Supernova, all right? Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, you guys. Hey, this is Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
Whatever you do, don't get on Interstate 65 North.
Oh, yeah?
65 North. Where do you think that the backup is?
Well, I got on at the northern bypass, and I'm moving at an incredible 9 miles an hour now, and I'm not to the first Millbrook exit.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. That's okay. That's a mess.
Yep.
So 65 northbound.
Yeah, because I got to go to Prepville, and I don't think I'm going to make it in time.
I think you're going to be late.
Well, at least I'm going 9 miles an hour.
That is better than sitting still. I'll give you that. It's very frustrating.
Well, I just wanted to give everybody a shout out. Go somewhere, go the other way if you know you're with this, because it's bad.
Gotcha. Thank you, Kevin.
Buddy. I'll see y'all later.
Appreciate it,
buddy.
Kevin. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. One of my main takeaways, though, from this week with all these hearings ongoing, well, the first takeaway is I think they're all going to fly through. Who knows with RFK Jr., that's going to be fireworks like crazy. I'm not even sure when that's scheduled. But Pete Hegseth, I think he gets confirmed easily. Pam Bondi, same way. Yeah. The Treasury Secretary, the Energy Secretary, Kristi Noem testifying today to be head of Homeland Security. I think all these folks fly through quite easily.
I don't know who makes these decisions, but I think that it was intelligent to put, if it was a decision, I think it was smart to have RFK at the end.
Yeah.
Because everything can get sort of lost in the noise, because that Hegseth thing was just hard to watch.
Hegseth first, and then all the ones you think are certain, and Hegseth really did hold his own for the most part.
Much.
I don't know how they do it. Like, I have no idea.
Neither do I. Especially what they know, and their junk on them, and you just gotta sit there.
I wonder, do they just pop like a boatload of Xanax before those hearings, and just sit there and just go stone faced?
How about the Hawaiian rep? And I cannot think, it was the Treasury guy that she was asking about his illicit sexual affairs that she might have had. I'm like, where did this come from? What am I watching?
Yeah, it's very leading.
Yeah,
to say the least.
And who's that Duckworth broad?
Oh, Tammy Duckworth. I think at least Duckworth has served and has some understanding of some of the military. Whereas
what, in the kitchen?
Just listening to her go back and forth with a few folks, I'm like, with Rubio, I was like, okay, so.
By the way, what happened to Rubio?
What do you mean? What happened?
When did he turn into this?
Softened up a little bit.
No, I mean, he sounded kind of based.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking that too. I'm like, I've hated this guy for years, and he sounds like
he's talking about the post-war liberal consensus and how it's garbage. I'm like, bro, what are you on?
Right, and
aren't you the guy who was like, I don't know what is happening. Trump has altered the brains of some of these people.
But the back and forth between Rubio and Rand Paul is great.
It's perfect.
And also, that's why I say Duckworth and Rubio, they sounded intelligent, talking about ASEAN and the whole alliance there in the Pacific and how to use that alliance, but also bilateral relations in order to get things done, especially with nations closer to China, yada, yada, yada.
ASEAN is a load of crap. By the way, we don't.
Well, it was kind of Rubio's point. He's like, we'll keep it as a forum.
Yeah.
But most of this is going to get done bilaterally.
These garbage alliances that do nothing. It's
nothing for us, for dang sure.
Yeah, what's about the BRICS nations?
My point, though, is I've yet to see a clip of Mazie Hirono from Hawaii actually say something intelligent or be impressive. Her and Sheldon Whitehouse, that fart sniffer.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
I think those Hegseth and Rubio hearings set women's rights back about a quarter decade. Just like, hey, maybe we were a little bit rushed. Sure they can get the vote, but should we have let them in public office? Maybe I'm not so sure.
But the one other takeaway is there is a rising crop of folks in the Congress, in the Senate and House side that you don't know because, we know our senators, we know our congressmen fairly well, but even some of the congressmen in the northern part of the state, I don't know Dale Strong at all. I don't really, I know Barry Moore because of this whole shakeup, but yeah, you don't know every single person. And what's cool is in these Senate hearings, you're seeing young people who are very young people for the Senate. Sheehy was the guy who he asked Pete Hegseth all sorts of questions, kind of a lightning round. He said, how many genders are there? 2. And he said something to the effect of, as a Sheehy, that's very important to me.
Right.
But it's these moments where you see these new faces rise up. But on the House side, as they're going back and forth, some new faces pop up, and you're like, okay, that guy's at least got the gift of gab. Verbal IQ is very strong. And this one guy, Brandon Gill, he is, where is he from? Texas. The 26th Congressional District in Texas.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
And I don't even know who this guy is, but I found this clip in one of these, big hearings on the House side. Let's listen in.
Why wouldn't they be? That is something that would fall under our purview in this committee. And Mr. Chairman,
initially, this is Jasmine Crockett and James Comer arguing with one another, and you'll see Comer kind of get short with Jasmine, and then this Brandon Gill guy will jump in.
All due respect, ma'am, you weren't concerned about $27 million of foreign influence that was laundered. Now, Ms. Stansberry, laundered, we can debate on the term of laundering. I don't think you
Would you like
understand
to?
what laundering
Would you
means.
yield? We
But
can
no,
discuss
Well,
because
it's
this
only
is Miss
15
Miss
seconds.
Crockett's time, and it's about to
I will go
expire.
ahead and yield to Miss Stansbury then.
She's got 10 seconds.
All right. Well, Mr. Chairman, this is a bit absurd, but it's very clear this committee did investigate. Donald Trump did launder his
Time's
money
expired.
through
Any
his
further
hotel,
recognition?
and we will provide the
Mr. Chair.
report which you suppressed. Thank you.
Mr. Gill. Chair recognize Mr. Gill from
The beginning of that was too entertaining to skip. So here's the Brandon Gill guy. And I think he speaks for so many kind of young, up-and-coming folks within the Republican Party.
Thank you. I find it rich that the other side of the aisle is suddenly concerned about corruption and ethics. Whenever President Biden just gave his son a 10-year blanket pardon for foreign influence peddling and whatever else he was doing while high on whatever drugs with whatever prostitutes. I also find it rich that all of the sudden the other side has some problem with successful businessmen being involved in politics whenever you guys are the party of George Soros, of Bill and Melinda Gates, of Sheryl Sandberg, of Mackenzie Bezos, of Taylor Swift, of so many other billionaires across the country, as well as every woke, weird pervert in Hollywood. I find this incredibly disingenuous. I think the reality is that the Republican Party under President Trump has a very clear mandate from voters, and you guys don't like it because voters rejected everything you stand for and every policy that you've shoved down the American people's throats over the past 4 years, whether it's open borders, a failing economy, raging inflation, this weird woke stuff that you guys have been shoving down our children's throats. And the voters rejected you and they welcomed our party. So with that, I yield my time, but I find this conversation incredibly rich from the other side.
I don't know what that Captain America thing is at the end, but no, it's interesting to see like new faces, new voices jumping in front of the microphone and the camera and having their moment. And it's always fun to try to spot some of these people before they rise up to true prominence. You can often see the ones that'll probably do well, at least with the gift of gab. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. A third takeaway from a lot of this, there are, of course, some exceptions, but most of Trump's cabinet picks, they're young. Most of them are good looking. They're very good on camera, very well spoken. And, well, other than Basant, that guy came across as like straight up nerd, like,
You don't like him?
No, I liked him, but he didn't come across as like a guy who's going to give a rip-roaring speech. It's like I'd rather watch paint dry than. But he was good on his feet, but because he just seems so like an autistic, like just numbers nerdy kind of guy, which is fine, obviously. But most of these folks, I think Trump has a method to his madness this time around.
Oh, no doubt.
He wants effective communicators. He wants people that are good on camera. And he wants people that do have the background to be able to go and overhaul things in the right way. So I got to hit a break here, but first, this part of the program brought to you by Sweet Creek Farm Market. And there at Sweet Creek, Reed Ingram is ready to help you out there. Whether you're looking for just a great sandwich for lunch, stop by that award-winning cafe for lunch, or maybe just looking for a nice cup of joe, a nice cup of coffee or some cocoa or something.
They like today or this weekend would be great.
They really do have good coffee. It's award-winning cafe for a reason. And, of course, they have fresh produce, baked goods, all sorts of hard-to-find jellies, jams, and preserves like some you might remember from your childhood, but you're not going to find it at some chain store.
right.
Sweet Creek will probably have it.
Talk about the cookies, Joey.
The cookies?
The cookies.
Oh, the big ones, the
big
bigger than our
ones,
faces,
yeah.
like the hubcap cookies.
Hubcap cookies.
Yeah,
With
like
everything
the,
in it, like everything.
Swamp cookie.
That
It's
thing
still one cookie, guys.
Yeah, oatmeal. It had chocolate chips. It had raisins. It was a delicious cookie. Delicious.
The point is, Sweet Creek is an amazing place to go for lunch, for grocery shopping, or seriously, like moms out there. If you're looking for a place to take the kids to run around on a Saturday while you enjoy a cup of coffee, do a little shopping, see some folks while the kids are safely playing, Sweet Creek Farm Market's the place to go. They're just 2 miles south of Taylor Road on Highway 231. Be sure when you stop by there to find Reed Ingram, or you can find Karen Ingram, but find Reed Ingram and tell them that Joey and Eddie and Craig, those guys on the radio, sent you. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
For many children, stability is something they have never experienced. At the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches, we offer hope, healing, and a family to children in need. Behind every success story, our house parents are the heart of our ranches. We're looking for compassionate couples to join our mission. We provide housing, medical benefits, a 401k, paid vacation, and the chance to make a lasting difference. The Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches. Be the love, be the guidance, be the family they need. Visit alsyr.org.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? HIMS can help. Get started at hims.com/joy. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Tucker Pecan is in a brand new location at 1935 Mulberry Street, but they've still got the same great products they had when they were downtown. Here's David Little to tell you more.
Hey, David Little at Tucker Pecan here. I tell you what, since we have moved, we've had great response. We have a lot of people coming by our new store on 1935 Mulberry Street, and it's a lot of fun. You know why? Because we're getting to add new items. We're adding new candies, new jellies, new jams. We even have a honey called Hot Pecan Butter. It's so good. We have a hot honey. We have a peach jam. We have a hemp jelly that is mangoes, pineapples, and jelly. It is so good. We've got all those things. Plus, we've got all the great candies we've had before. And, you know, we're in a very convenient location. You don't have to go to downtown. You come to Tucker Pecan at 1935 Mulberry Street. Come shop with us, and we'll take care of all your gift needs, candies, or if you're just hungry, come by, and we'll fix you up.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Ernest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Ernest, 334-279-7431. Ernest Financial, LLC.
We're enjoying one more fairly mild January day today. Before big changes start, winter is right around the corner. Stand by. A good bit of sunshine today with a high in the low to mid-60s. Dry through the evening hours tonight with rain beginning in the overnight hours and periods of rain Saturday, ending Saturday evening, turning much colder Sunday with a high temperature only in the middle 40s, down to the low 20s by Sunday night into Monday morning. Monday's high temperature on MLK Day only in the mid-30s. Then we're still looking at the possibility of a little bit of light snow sometime during the day, Tuesday or Tuesday evening. We're still a few days away, so that could change. Stay tuned. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
At CB&S Bank, we've been meeting the needs of our customers since 1906. Need help setting up new business goals? Our line of commercial loans can help you achieve them. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Is cocaine a stronger up?
Yeah. Cocaine
So you're way up with cocaine more than anything else you can think of.
Cocaine will turn you into a damn owl, homie. You know what I'm saying?
Joey Clark.
Oh, welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. Looks like Tuberville's on Fox Business talking about how the FDA has banned red dye number 3, and he had the right timing. He asked FDA heads, a couple weeks ago about this, and sort of got in front of this story. So good on Coach. Both Britt and Tuberville talking. They seem to be on the same page in terms of issues often. I've noticed that lately. But you've got to wonder. You got to wonder what will be the next thing from our two senators here in the Alabama delegation. I'm looking at a story you just wrote up, Craig. I think it just came out at 1819news.com. Britt pushes to remove legal deference for government agencies. No reason for unelected bureaucrats to wield near absolute power. Well, if that's the quote, I really agree.
Yeah, it's sort of close-ish to the whole Chevron doctrine thing that they did a while back, but obviously in a different realm. Just you essentially, whenever a dispute, say between a regulatory agency and a business or an individual, comes before a court, it has been it is the policy of the United States government that the agency gets the deference. It's essentially, if you're a person bringing a claim against a regulatory agency, you are guilty until proven innocent. And this would remove that, make a de novo standard, which means brand new. You come at it with fresh eyes, essentially. And well, you know what used to be called justice. And so it's amazing that you need someone like Katie Britt to come in and be like, hey, how about we do that whole, that's the funniest thing is in our crappy modern day society, equity has been injected with a whole lot of woke garbage to mean a specific thing. That's actual equity. That means that you don't make you approach a subject with new eyes, with complete neutrality, and just see the merits of the arguments being made by both sides.
Yeah, kind of first principles.
Yeah, instead of just giving deference to a government agency. Ugh.
Yeah, and here's a quote from Senator Britt direct, quote, "The idea that administrative agencies should have deference in court proceedings flies in the face of the Republican ideals of our founding fathers, indeed. There is no reason for unelected bureaucrats to wield near absolute power, especially when our Constitution explicitly vests the authority and responsibility to make laws in the legislative branch. The Separation of Powers Restoration Act is a key step in handing the reins back to the people, not unaccountable figures in the administrative state." Well, I'm all for this. As y'all have listened to the show, you know how much I'm in strong support of something like that. Then also, it looks like the Laken Riley Act passed its latest procedural hurdle. I think it's about to be voted on.
Yeah.
Here is I think a clip that was just dropped about 30 minutes ago. This is Senator Britt from the well of the Senate. Let's listen in.
As elected representatives, our greatest responsibilities are to listen to the will of the American people, to keep the American people safe and secure. And on November 5th of last year, the American people made their voices heard, and they were very clear. They told all of us in Washington that they would no longer put up with the crimes like the one Jose Ibarra committed, the one that stole Laken from her loved ones. The American people deserve, and they delivered a verdict, and they deserve results. We have irresponsible, open border, soft on crime policies, and that must end. It is our duty to turn their cries into action.
So we'll see here soon whether or not, because this has to get over the 60-vote filibuster threshold, right? In order to pass. So we'll see. I know John Fetterman has been working with Britt on this, and I think, as I've been saying all last week, and I'll continue saying, they're besties for the resties.
Yeah.
Fetterman and Britt I think they really genuinely do like each other. And I will say, I was saying this to Jeff Poore on Wednesday, watching Coach Tuberville in the Hegseth hearing, Tuberville, am I wrong about this? He seems happy. Like, you watch these folks enough, he actually genuinely seems very happy and like he's having a lot of fun right now.
Yeah. Do you remember a drug back in the day? It was very popular amongst bodybuilders. It was called GHB.
Oh, yeah.
There was a street name for that. It was called Permagrim. And the reason for that is as soon as you took it, you had a permagrin. You're just walking around with that. That's
Right.
Tuberville for the past the past 7 weeks.
He really is smiling
He
ear to ear.
is happier than a pig, and you know what? He is rutting in the excrement of his joy. He is so happy because he's watching. I mean, again, we all experience the Schadenfreude of watching all these people that we hate melt down in anguish over the election of President Donald Trump. So he is going to have a great 2 years.
And so
in Senate.
far, they have yet to figure out reprogramming. Like a true good counter message to what Trump is doing.
No.
They're just repeating all the same crap.
Yeah.
All of them. All these dim senators are just repeating the same, talking about January 6th, talking about, nobody cares.
They're just in a tizzy, man.
Nobody cares. Like, y'all are beating a horse to death that nobody cares about. Like, okay, just chop it up. We'll eat the horse at this point.
Yeah, and you know, it's had like a weird cultural impact too. Like the R word is back in a big way.
Yes.
And the F word, not that F word, the F word talking about people, people that like to have relationships with people of their own sex. It's like it's weird how it's this trickle down effect, and then, of course you got Zuck doing whatever he's doing. You got a Scarborough kissing the ring. It's an amazing effect of what's happening. I think it's only going to increase.
This has been an ongoing thing with me and Eddie over Zuckerberg. And it's not really a thing. I think we're largely in agreement. It's more what we're emphasizing.
Yeah.
I am in
He's
the
a sellout piece of crap, and he'll go either way the wind
I'm not
blows.
even going to argue with you on that. I'm saying instead of going that sellout piece of crap, why is he a Johnny come lately? Why was he just weak back then? And you can add a lot of other people to that list too. Right. It's not just Zuckerberg, but a lot of folks are going to kiss the ring, to Craig's point. My point is not to deny all that. My point is, let's celebrate them having to kiss the ring. Let's celebrate this shift in the culture.
I want them to have to go through some mud first. I don't want them just to be able to run up and kiss the ring. I want them to have to belly crawl through some poop.
Why is the show so scatological today, by the way? Both of you two. I've had a pretty tip-top shaped show all week, and y'all are making all these poop references.
I tried to find a meme and I can't find it on any of like the social media platforms, but it's the scene from probably the greatest episode of South Park ever, where Randy Marsh was on the Price is Right, or not the Price is Right, on and he
Wheel of
said the
Fortune?
thing. Wheel of Fortune. And
How can you not find that
whenever whenever he has to actually go to who was it?
Jesse Jackson.
Jesse Jackson, it's just kiss it. Kiss it. That scene has been playing over in my mind. But Facebook, X, none of them have it in their GIF libraries, and it makes me very upset because I keep trying to find it. But that's what's been going through my mind is Donald Trump with his very orange tushy.
Oh, yeah.
Kiss it. Kiss it.
Kiss it. Kiss it. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Oh, that's the best episode.
Yep.
Yeah. People who annoy me.
No, Mr. Marsh, we were looking for Nagger.
Yeah. And then they bring in Kramer and the guy from the O.J. Simpson. What was his name?
Yeah.
The child.
Furman or
Mark Furman.
Yeah.
That was the best episode ever.
Yeah. Some of the COVID episodes were pretty great too, but that still stands up there because I don't know how they did it. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
That and the Tom Cruise one.
Tom Cruise, get out the closet. Elron, are you proud of me, Elron?
Hey, have you? Who's the black chick, the representative from Texas that got into it with
Jasmine
Crockett. Yeah.
Does she not remind you of Wanda Sykes when she's talking?
No, she reminds me of the person who handed me my McDouble yesterday through the drive-through window.
Well, about the same IQ, yeah.
Yeah, generally, as the McDouble.
Yeah. So, I do every time I hear her. I'm like, how did this person get elected? Somebody's got to explain this to me. That's as unelectable as Sheila Jackson Lee.
Oh yeah.
Are you familiar with John Rogers, who just recently was a member of the Alabama House of Representatives?
Oh yeah, the guy with the bad toupee.
That's the guy.
No.
Oh,
That's Mike Rogers. Mike Rogers.
And that toupee is glorious, not bad. You watch your mouth.
I can tell you
It's
that.
a free pay.
It's like Lego hair.
I know. There are just some people you wonder. I mean, she ranks right up there with AOC. I mean, it's just it's just unbelievable that she ever made it into Congress. It really is.
Yeah.
So it doesn't say much for her constituents.
No.
And by the way, Nancy Mace is out of control, man. Like
Oh,
that,
man,
like
she is.
her threatening to take it outside. Like, you will not call me a child.
I thought
I
that's what she
would
said
love
she
to
was
see
not trying to
Nancy
do.
Mace
She wasn't
Put the
threatening
beat down
anyone.
on her.
Now the problem is that the problem with that is women, when they fight, for some reason they instinctively go for the hair and they
They
grab
go
the
for the-
hair.
They do.
In that case, Jasmine Crockett has the distinct advantage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let
They
the
do. And they
reader
won't let go of the hair either.
understand.
They will not let go of the hair.
No, well, the problem is, it's like you go to hair to control the person.
Mm-hmm.
If you try to grab Jasmine Crockett's hair, that's not happening. The hair's
No.
just coming off.
Yeah, you're gonna keep grabbing.
Yeah.
Like looking for that sky hook when you're falling.
Next thing you know, you're holding like that little sandworm from Dune.
That's like walking across the Walmart parking lot at midnight.
Why do they always end up in the parking lot? There's always hair in the parking lot, and I don't understand why.
No, I've learned that, especially in the last like 5 years. It's like all the tumbleweaves around.
Tumbleweaves, man.
It's like, how do you lose the hair off your head in the middle of driving and riding in a car? I don't understand
Took
that.
the top down, I guess. I don't know.
I guess so. Have a good one, guys.
Appreciate it, David. Anyway, it's Friday, 272-9228. We're all over the place by design. Again, that's 334-272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Smokehouse Pit Barbecue. Man, at Smokehouse, they're blowing and going. They really
buddy.
know what they're doing over there when it comes to barbecue. All those brick pits running, 5 brick pits running, hand-pulled meats. But, of course, you can get spare ribs over there.
Yep.
Some of that camp stew. You know, it's going to get real cold there.
Next week, buddy. That's Camp Stew season, man.
Go ahead and load up on it, I say.
Yeah.
We'll get a gallon
Yeah,
of
you can
camp
get it
stew.
to go.
Like, go get a big, because it warms up just fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, all the side items are just to die for. I'm partial to fried okra. I really like
Fried okra's great. I love some mac and cheese.
Ooh, yeah.
Love some collard greens.
And, of course, they don't just do barbecue for lunch and dinner,
No,
which they do, and it's the best barbecue in the river region. They also do breakfast Tuesday through Sunday.
Yep.
It is amazing. You might be like, wait, a barbecue joint's doing breakfast? Yes.
And they do it right.
And you need to go try it. The best thing I've eaten the last few years is those cheese grits.
No
They're
doubt, man.
remarkable. But of course, they have custom-made biscuits and breakfast sandwiches, breakfast bowls, a great menu of already prepared dishes. Like you get the Fat Boy breakfast, a big old sampler of everything they have to offer. Just jump right in there when you're having breakfast at Smokehouse Pit Barbecue. So you can always stop by the same location they've always been all these years, Main Street in Millbrook there. And of course, you can always go to Facebook to see the latest entertainment they have on Friday nights and whatnot. They're at Smokehouse Pit Barbecue. Just look them up on the Book of Faces. And when you stop by, be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie and Craig, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hey y'all, this is Steve Kirkpatrick for Big Block Designs. I haven't always been a drafter. I grew up in the radio TV broadcasting business in Pensacola, which is why I know the value of advertising on Blue Water Broadcasting. And the first thing you do when you get in the car is turn on the radio. Blue Water Broadcasting gets results. Big Block Designs has grown because we advertise with Blue Water. It works. Want to grow your business? You should too. Have a better day.
Our advertisers are our biggest advocates. Call us to find out how radio can increase your bottom line. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Don't you love the feeling of coming home to a clean house? Let Southern Bell's cleaning service get your home in order. Families in the River region trust Southern Bell's because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bells today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bells Cleaning River Region.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Austin Baranko with Invista Advisors. Hey, Austin, how you doing today, sir?
Happy Friday, Joey. Having a great day. What about y'all?
Likewise, it is a happy Friday indeed. And, well, as I'm kind of just looking at the markets as a layman, it seems all over the place this week in terms of what's happening on Wall Street and people's outlook of the economy in general going forward. What's been going on this week?
Yeah, so there's kind of two camps out there, and the reason the markets have had swings down and back up this week is, we had numbers come out on Monday that were a little better than expected, which, from the Fed's perspective means that we may not get rate cuts or pauses next year. Some people are even considering maybe by year end you get a rate hike, and then, that's never good for the market. The market doesn't like, higher borrowing costs. And then on Wednesday, we had another set of report come out and say, hey, it looks like, inflation is cooling off a little bit, which is a good sign for the market. And so you have mixed views. And so I'd say it's kind of a flat week. I guess we're ending the week up, but you had bad news early, good news halfway through. But when I say there's kind of two thoughts out there in the market, you have kind of your market purists who do not believe that the Fed should get involved in, manipulating the broader market. And then you have those that think the Fed will get involved, and regardless of, anytime the market begins to struggle, the Fed is just going to come out with a solution, and they call it kind of the Fed put. They're going to continue solving these problems. The market's going to just continue to go up, never go down. And at some point, that can't be a reality. But in the short term, and I'll call the short term 2 to 4 years, can the current administration and the Fed and the Treasury all come up with solutions just to keep this market humming? And if they do, it's going to be a great 4 years. But whenever it stops, I'll just say this, whenever it stops, and it'll be pretty swift, if you're not allocated properly, it could be a pretty significant haircut. And so what we try to do, for our clients who are pretty risk off, is make sure that, hey, we're getting gains, winning where we can, but not overexposing, so that, when the music stops, they're not left holding a bag. And that's kind of my take on it. So I know that's kind of generalities, but, if anyone wants to dive in deeper, certainly have them reach out, and I can kind of show them our methodology and why we think what we think. But that's my take on why the market's been all over the place this week.
Well, and if folks, you want a team that can help you guide you with your long-term financial future, and not just investments and all the things you need to consider when it comes to preserving wealth and making sure it becomes generational wealth and that you're doing it the right way, you got to go with Invista Advisors. And that number's still 387-0094 to give you all a call?
Yeah, that's us, Joey.
So, again, 387-0094. And when you call them up, be sure to say, hey, I heard Austin Branco on the radio there with Joey Clark.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, Joe. And you and Eddie have a great weekend.
You too.
Hey, brother.
Always good hearing from Austin there at Invista Advisors.
I'll just go screw myself.
Well, no, what he didn't know about you, but real quick.
The opinions voiced in this material are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. All performance referenced is historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. The opinions expressed in this material do not necessarily reflect the views of LPL Financial. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice is offered through Invista Advisors, registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial.
You okay, Craig?
I'm great. Sorry. That happens all the time.
So sensitive. 272-9228. Let's go to Lori. Hey, Lori, how you doing?
Hey, Lori.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Pretty good.
Okay. Joey, you mentioned the Lake and Riley bill is almost passed. She was killed last February. The trial's already been done, and he has been sentenced to life, which he should have been sentenced to the death penalty, and that's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But remember a few years ago, it was somewhere up around Dadeville, a little girl that the man held captive. He killed their mother and brother.
Yeah, you're talking to the guy who broke that story and has been covering it ever since. Yeah, Jose Pascal Reyes.
And it's still tied up in sort of court, plotting through the court.
It's gone nowhere. It's gone nowhere.
It's gone nowhere. Well, you heard about it for about a week, 10 days, and then it's just like it disappeared. And I was like, where is he? Is he still locked up? I hope.
Yeah, he's still locked up because he has no bond and he couldn't afford the bond even if he if it was available. But yeah, I do regular updates on that just simply to show people how much it's stalled. It really is kind of, I guess you can call it a flaw in our legal system because he's switched representation. There's been continuances. He had to have a mental illness evaluation. He's had to been put on suicide watch, and all of this, by the way, on our dime.
Right.
Yeah. And so they haven't even had there's not been one day of trial thus far. So yeah, it's frustrating to watch because he killed his mother and her son and put them in his walls after he dismembered them, and this brave young girl chewed her way through her restraints and made her way into the streets.
It's amazing.
It's a harrowing story. But yeah, he was an illegal who was here, and there's yet to be justice, but it will happen. But that's just the way that this legal system works, very dysfunctionally.
Yeah, I mean, it happened so quick over in Georgia, and I'm like, what's wrong, Alabama? You need to step up.
Well, and if this act actually passes, it will trigger immediately deportation for a lot of folks. So it should pass. We'll see if it actually does. You need 7 Democrats, I think, to support this thing.
She'll get it. And and we also, by the way, there's also a Lake and Riley Act filed in the state that didn't go anywhere last session because there was a whole lot of debate and law enforcement wanted to bitch and moan about certain peccadillos, but it's been refiled this year by State Rep Ernie Yarbrough, and it's very similarly, it allows the state law enforcement to work sort of hand in hand with ICE and other federal law enforcement to detain and deport people that commit crimes that are illegal. So I think we're going to see some movement on that this year because that's just the mood of the day when it comes to immigration.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, guys. I appreciate the information.
Thank you, Lori. Let's hit our top of the hour break. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Israel's full cabinet meeting on the Gaza ceasefire deal that would pause the fighting and release dozens of hostages held by the Hamas terrorists, along with Palestinian prisoners held by Israel. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem facing senators during her confirmation hearing as she vies to become the next Homeland Security Secretary. It's her first chance to lay out a vision that will be central to Donald Trump's plans for cracking down on illegal immigration. The Supreme Court upholds the federal law banning TikTok beginning on Sunday, unless it's sold by its China-based parent company. The LA wildfires continue to burn. 80,000 people are still under evacuation orders. On Wall Street, the Dow up 448 points, the Nasdaq adding 368. This is SRN News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend. Must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
We're enjoying one more fairly mild January day today. Before big changes start, winter is right around the corner. Stand by. A good bit of sunshine today with a high in the low to mid 60s. Dry through the evening hours tonight with rain beginning in the overnight hours and periods of rain Saturday, ending Saturday evening, turning much colder Sunday with a high temperature only in the middle 40s, down to the low 20s by Sunday night into Monday morning. Monday's high temperature on MLK Day only in the mid 30s. Then we're still looking at the possibility of a little bit of light snow sometime during the day, Tuesday or Tuesday evening. We're still a few days away, so that could change. Stay tuned. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. A bill has been pre-filed in the upcoming legislative session to ban cell phones in public schools. The ban would apply to the use of cell phones in kindergarten through 12th grade public classrooms. There would be a few exceptions, such as medical reasons. If passed, the bill would go into effect for the 2025-26 school year. Montgomery has earned 2 prestigious gold-level designations from the CSX Select Site program. The recognition sets the city apart as the only location across CSX 25-state network to achieve dual gold certification. The CSX Select Site program evaluates sites based on railway standards of logistics, readiness, and operational efficiency. The 11th annual MLK Community Celebration will be held tonight at the Davis Theater in downtown Montgomery at 7 p.m. The event seeks to inspire and educate the community about the principles championed by Dr. King, a celebration of equality, justice, and unity that Dr. Martin Luther King passionately advocated. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Adams Drugs has been committed to the health care of the people of the River region for over 62 years. We value the trust each customer has in our pharmacists, techs, and entire staff. If you have not experienced the difference of Adams Drugs and are not satisfied with the customer service that you get in the big box stores, we invite you to visit any of our locations and see how committed we are to your satisfaction. Adams Drugs offers a variety of services that you will not find in all pharmacies in the River region. Personalized compounding, area-wide delivery, wellness screenings, immunizations, medication consultations, and specialized packaging, just to name a few. Visit us at our website, adamsdrugs.net, and find the location nearest you. Adams Drugs has 12 convenient locations to serve you. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Adams Drugs is your local Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the Afternoon. I'm Joey Clark. That's Eddie Bader over there representing Thick Boy Nation.
That's right. Hey, we found out what happened on 65.
What happened?
A car hit a retainer wall right there before the first Millbrook exit.
Oh, that's not good.
We're going to have some traffic there for a while.
That's just, that's no good at all. Well, let's go to Dan on line 1. He's been patient. Hey, Dan.
Hey, I talked to y'all a couple of weeks ago about the issues that are going to come up with the legislature with dealing with the Coosa River. And y'all please try to get a hold of one of the Water Patrol people. Right now, there is no law about whatever somebody's wage can do to your property. or persons. For example, New Year, 4th of July, a lady had her kids out, grandkids out swimming, and a boat came by with those bladders in the back of them so they can ski.
Right.
And the waves just knocked her kids up against her retaining wall. She called the Border Patrol. He came over and sat and watched them, and then he told her there wasn't anything he could do about it. And they're trying to pass new laws this year that'll cover the entire Coosa River. I did see one in Oxford while I was up here last week about having a slot limit on bass fish of 13 to 20 inches. And the bass associations and all the tournaments are raising all kind of hell trying to stop that. So we need to get somebody up there that can give y'all all the laws that they're going to propose, and then who all we can support to get that. It's on already 5 different lakes. It's just not on the Coosa. But it is on Lay and Logan Martin, but not Jordan and Mitchell and all those. One thing that really is pissing me off, I'm sorry, all the attraction going to California.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in North Carolina,
Exactly.
those people are in tents, freezing their asses off.
Yep. Got kicked out of
Nobody's
hotels, too.
saying a word.
Yep.
Nobody is saying a word about those people in North Carolina. They haven't been taken care of. They haven't been restored. Just I guess the news cycle closed.
Yeah.
And let's go worry about California.
Yeah, and we went through the
And if
holidays.
you
I
get
hope
young-
one of the first things, say, Trump and J.D. Vance
I got a
does
feeling he
is
is.
spotlight those folks and help them out.
Hopefully. Now, if y'all have been out there, and I'm sure Eddie probably has, I can promise you on the Palisades and there's not a single house that burned down that's less than $500,000.
Yeah.
This is not a place where they got cheap homes.
No.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
And wait till the
You know,
rebuilding costs.
And I
kick
feel
in.
sorry for anybody.
Yeah.
But I feel sorry for anybody as a house burn. But these people in North Carolina need to be taken care of.
100%.
Not just forgotten. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank
Have
you.
the rest of the nice day.
Appreciate it, Dan.
And it kind of goes back with North Carolina, and it happened early on in Biden's time in office as well. If it wasn't a blue state, they kind of seemed not to get the attention that they deserved. And then we found out that FEMA was openly kind of discriminating against people with Trump signs in the yard. So.
And I learned that extended family, I don't really know them at all, but it's my grandfather's brother-in-law's kids. They their house almost burned down out there in Los Angeles. 50 yards away, it stopped.
Wow. And that's something else from watching social media, TikTok, and all of them. The amount of people that were able to save their house with just a garden hose.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all they had. And they sit there and fought it. Could you imagine, Joe? You just got a garden hose and everything around you is on fire.
And then I can't imagine going through this winter season, and it's only going to get more intense here in the next week or so, with having nowhere to go. It's dangerous, number one. And that's a catastrophe happening there in North Carolina in particular. And I guess parts of East Tennessee, too.
Sure. But we don't hear, we heard about the bad, and we heard that the government finally showed up, but then that's it. But if you look anything on social media, the people are still hurting today, just like it happened yesterday.
Now, the first thing Dan talked about, I don't live on the lake. It kind of made common sense to me what he was talking about. And have you heard anything about this? Or?
Yeah, I mean, they want to, there's a couple different ways they can do it. Basically, boats come in with skiers or wakeboarders, so they have a huge wake. That way the wakeboarder can ski and jump the wakes and all that kind of stuff.
Sure, yeah.
And it does. Those wakes put off force.
Right.
That force has got to go somewhere.
Well, I mean, having spent a little time on lakes and then especially in the bay with my dad on his boat, there are just clear areas where you can't go full out. When you just expand that area where you can't go full out.
See, I'm torn on that. When I first moved up to the lake, it was a no man's land. You could do what you wanted.
Right.
You could do what you wanted. And that was a big thing that turned me on about the lake.
Sure. Especially Lake Jordan.
Yeah. And it really was. But as I'm getting older, I see some people are taking. You had a good neighbor clause up there, and you don't have that anymore.
Oh, okay.
And I see where people are coming up there, and I get his point 100%. But I'm a guy, I hate putting more laws and rules on things. I just don't. But my seawalls got knocked down, so I've been a victim of that. I get it.
It seems just like common sense, and like he's right. It's already on very developed lakes.
Yeah. And what needs to happen is you just need, and nobody wants to do it because it's rough. But if you want to ski and tube and all that, do that in the middle of the lake, not in my slough.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
The good neighbor clause is gone. That's what
Right. That's what I was thinking. You can have a lot of fun out there tubing or skiing or wakeboarding and just
do it in the
right.
middle of the
Don't do
lake.
it right on top of somebody's house.
And it happens, man. And people come by my house all the time, and I see this wake, and my peers just getting knocked around, and I don't get mad because I've been that guy that they chase out of there.
Is there a particular type of vessel?
Yeah, wake boat.
That you would just want to see not on the lake at all?
Nope.
All vessels allowed?
All vessels allowed.
Okay. I'm saying, is there one that in particular
I hate
annoys
the
you?
airboats that are loud. I hate them all. But no.
No, you believe in freedom. I get it. I'm not testing your principle. I'm saying if you were king of the world and you got to control the whole lake, is there a particular vessel you're like, man, I wish I could just ban
The most annoying ones are and I love them, but the fishermen at night that do the bow fishing, and it looks like somebody's welding right outside your house at 2 in the morning because it's so bright. The lights are so bright.
Oh, okay.
But again, do your thing, man. It's annoying. I got to roll over, but
let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
This is Boomer T.
Hey, Boomer T.
Hey, Joey, we got cigarette boats up here. I mean, but we got some boats that come up here, man. We got, believe it or not, this little lake, we got pontoons up here that's got dual 300s on the back of them.
Yeah.
But you know what, Eddie? But guys, you know what the most craziest thing is? Like Eddie's talking about, I've been here 28 years on Lake Jordan. Let me tell you, I've seen, like Eddie said, there was nothing up here. Now we got all these people coming up here, and they're bringing these fast ski boats. Well, I live in Weoka Slough, down about by the creek down here. Well, right in front of my house, about 40 yards, there's a nice little sandbar. And you get these cats flying in here, boy, they all happy with that music plopping, boom, 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 boom. And all of a sudden they make that curve, boy, and they stick that boat right there, and they go, whoa.
Yep.
And all of a sudden they go, whoa, whoa. Well, let me tell you something, Cat. When you got a $250,000 ski nautic sitting in the sand out here in your back, and you're just driving and grinding, ain't doing nothing but tearing up. But that's what's wrong with the lake now. People, Lake Jordan, Lake Martin, whatever you want to say. People, the sea-doos. God dang it! If I gotta have a license, you gotta have a license. Well, you know what? I got to have a license to drive a car.
Yeah.
These kids get down there, these 14, 15, 16-year-old kids out here, and trust me, I have a lot of kids, they try to be funny, ha, 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 look at Mr. Boomer, come by the ice cream boat, and, they spray us down with water, and some of them I deal with, some of them, I don't so much, I know, I thought, no, it's the truck horn that gets me. I got a guy that rides behind me sometimes.
Yep.
William B., you know who you are.
We're getting calls out on the air.
And I'll be riding down the lake, just be me and Teresa riding, hitting the sandbar, deliver. All of a sudden, roar, roar. And let me tell you something, boy. Hey, I've had to come back to the house twice, and it's not been a good thing, though. But the lake. If y'all gonna come to the lake, do 2 things: respect my lake, do not throw trash in my daggone water, and learn how to drive a sea-doo. Sea-doos and tubing and skiing is made for out in the middle.
Yeah, do it in the
and
lake.
while you're out there,
right.
That's it. And while you're out there riding around, shoot, come on by and see Big Green Ice Cream Boat. Get the speed of the ice cream. But guys, y'all have a great day. I'm enjoying the show. Happy Friday. Hey, Monday.
Monday's a big day.
I'm already. You have no idea. I'm getting so juiced up right now. I can't wait till Monday. I'm going. Oh Lord, guys, y'all have a great day. Be safe this weekend. Enjoy everybody. Y'all be safe in the bad weather. We'll talk to you. We can talk to you. God bless each and every one of you. God bless America. And see you when I see you. Peace.
See you, Boomer T.
Always a great call from Boomer T. And
that's another thing I forgot about. Lake Martin has banned certain size boats. I forgot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, and I forget so many feet, 24 feet or above, something like that. So those boats started showing up at Jordan. And again, I'm a boat fan. And he's right. When I see these cigarette boats and I know they're going 70, 75 miles an hour down it, I'm like, that ain't safe.
Right. No, and honestly, like I'm not a lake person. Like I've been to Lake Martin, I've been to your place and stuff, and it's great. But it's just common sense. Like you don't have to be like know the etiquette exactly of the lake
it's common
to kind of know like I shouldn't rev up my big old boat right next to that guy's house. Like that's probably unwise. I shouldn't be running 80 miles an hour. Like
you asked about the kind of boats that I don't like the most. I just thought about this. The boats that show up at my house and I don't know they're coming, and they sit out in front of my place going, Those boats I hate.
I'm just waiting for Eddie to mount like a paintball gun to that drone of his.
Well, you got to stop going outside in your wife's kimono.
Well, Joey, the neighbors, they kind of like it.
Well, you're going to get more folks going.
Who are you calling Eddie? I'm the dude.
Let me see that leg. Give me some leg.
You come out there at the right time, you might see more than that.
Oh, good morning. Chilly out, I see.
Yeah, who we kidding?
It's cold.
What, they got a telescope on board? Binoculars?
Yeah, sometimes they got rangefinders.
Yeah, we got rangefinders, binoculars. Like, I see it, honey. I see it.
I'm telling you. It happens, man.
272-9228. It does seem like this shift in the culture is not just America. And the New York Post seems to be backing that up today. The left is now more unpopular worldwide than any time since the Cold War.
Across the world, buddy.
Lefty political parties across the world are now more unpopular than any time since the Cold War, a staggering analysis of recent elections shows. The left suffered a record low average of just 45% of votes in dozens of ballots held globally last year, according to the analysis of 73 Democratic elections conducted by The Telegraph. In the United States and Western Europe, progressives were even more unpopular, with the left-leaning party securing only 42% of their respective votes. The right, meanwhile, won 57% of the average votes, representing the widest gap since 1990, the analysis found. The global demise of the political left comes off the back of President-elect Donald Trump's landslide election win. Trump, who will be inaugurated on Monday, 3 days. 3 days, folks, including today. And it's been moved inside because of the weather. But secured the popular vote with 77 million votes compared to the 75 million Kamala Harris raked in. The left's declining popularity is only expected to continue, too, experts say. In the wake of Harris's defeat, leftist parties in Canada, Australia, and Germany are already predicted to suffer similar... Wait, is there an echo in here? Similar losses in upcoming ballots. The trend is up. There is no real reason to expect that will stop anytime soon. Professor Matthias, that's a weird name. What the heck is that? That's got to be a Nordic name. I don't even know how to pronounce that at all. In Canada, the polls are already showing that firebrand conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is the favorite to replace Justin Trudeau. Meanwhile, Australia's Conservative Party has also inched ahead of its ruling progressive government prior to a planned election later this year, polls show. Experts have pinned the right's rising popularity in part on hardline immigration policies in the U.S. and parts of Europe. Jeremy Cliff of the European Council on Foreign Relations think tank said 3 trends were also tied to the boost: the globalization-driven decline of organized labor, rising identity politics harnessed more successfully by the right than the left, and a general tendency among leftist forces to fragment rather than unite. Actually, I think that little analysis by that fellow there, Mr. Cliff, is that's still too academic, too egghead. I think what's happening is institutions built after the Cold War, a big victory into history. And you're right, Craig, Marco Rubio sounding based. Like, I've been hating Rubio all these years.
Many years.
He impressed me. He really did come across as like a guy who's genuinely engaged with the issues and what matters.
Has he been re-educated?
I don't know. I think it's almost like Marco Unleashed, where he doesn't have to play the Republican Party game as much.
Yeah.
He gets to be Secretary of State for Donald Trump. So the only person he really answers to is Trump. Yep. And so it, I think, gives somebody like that room to breathe. I don't have to do the talking points. I can just be a smart person about policy and what I want to see in the world. He really did impress me. But I think it's that shift Rubio brought up from the post, say, Cold War liberal international order. It's frayed. It's done. And what's going to replace it is a big question. Now, the dastardly libertarian me is always worried because it's great. Like, the left has been defeated, and it looks like they're going to be defeated in so many other countries.
Yeah.
Have you heard about the idea that power corrupts?
Ultimate.
And it doesn't matter what your priors might be or all the promises you make to the population might be, that you might end up like with folks who are not the same, but pretty bad. So I'm wondering where all this goes. The thing is, something had to give, and I'm glad it's giving in this direction. And we shall see what the next shoe to drop is. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. 9228. Now, I want to start reading here. This is from the pages of the New York Times, all the news that's fit to print, right? And they're a little late to the party. But the headline is Russell Vought poised to expand power of White House budget office. Oh, say it again, but say it slower. If confirmed, Mr. Vought will be at the center of President-elect Donald Trump's plans to upend the federal bureaucracy. Can you all get some cigarettes after I read this?
We'll get you some fake candy cigarettes.
Or something to take the edge off it. This is getting me all worked up.
Oh.
While leading the Office of Management and Budget during the first Trump administration, Russell T. Vought took steps to force federal employees to work without pay during a government shutdown, froze military aid for Ukraine, and railed against quote-unquote wasteful spending such as foreign aid and organizing unions in other nations. Wait, we pay to organize unions in other nations?
Yeah.
The federal government pays for it.
Yeah.
I already liked this guy if he was trying to stop that. Mr. Vought, whom President-elect Donald J. Trump has tapped to head the budget office in his next term, has since developed an even more expansive view of the White House budget director's role. In his writing and speeches, Mr. Vought has made clear that he sees the role as an opportunity to vastly shrink the federal government. Yes. Go for it.
Slash it.
He wants to cull its workforce, claim impoundment authority to allow the executive branch to claw back congressionally approved funding for government agencies,
Yes.
and overhaul the so-called administrative state. God, I love these people in the oligarchy. Yeah, Joe Biden, if you're looking for the oligarchy, go look at the New York Times, you jackass. Anyway, Mr. Vought will make the case publicly on Wednesday when he testifies before the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee about his qualifications to once again lead the budget office. If confirmed, Mr. Vought will be far more than a number cruncher in the second Trump administration. He could play a key role in carrying out Mr. Trump's agenda to shrink the federal government. And think about this. Doge?
Mm-hmm.
Doge, who do they report to? Of course, the president.
Right.
But who are they working hand in hand with?
The Elon Musker and
Vivek. Yeah, they're going to be working hand in hand with the Office of Management and Budget and Russ Vought, who this New York Times piece is about. And I also don't know this other person's name, but they're also going to be working hand in hand with the Office of Personnel Management. These are boring little acronyms. They're like, oh, just another three-letter organization in the government. But it shows that Doge and Trump, they're serious.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just, a little blue ribbon commission. It's not like some advisory committee where the governor picks a few people and the legislature pick a few people and they produce like 2-3 reports a year and don't cut hardly anything or really improve much of anything and call themselves Doge. It's just absurd. No, I think this is the direction we're going. Back to the New York Times. In an interview with the conservative broadcaster Tucker Carlson in November, Mr. Vought described the Office of Management and Budget as the quote-unquote nerve center of the federal government and a tool for taming democracy. Quote, it has the ability to turn off the spending that's going on at the agencies. It has all the regulations coming through it to assess whether it's good or bad or too expensive or it could be done a different way. While the agency may be little known, it is an incredibly powerful government department. Established in 1921 as the Bureau of Budget within the Treasury Department, the agency was redesignated as the Office of Management and Budget in 1970. But its responsibilities go well beyond formulating a president's budget and spending priorities. The office has the authority to review all federal regulations that agencies write when they carry out laws passed by Congress. The agencies have broad discretion in how they interpret legislation, often adding to the ultimate cost of a law. Earlier, we're talking about the bill Senator Britt has put forward. So you're going to see, I think, in the congressional side, I'm wondering who in the House is going to pick that up. You get Congress saying we're going to apply the Chevron doctrine, and then you actually have the executive branch not waiting on Congress and pressing the removal of the Chevron doctrine as well. Because again, until recently, these agencies have had broad discretion to interpret how to apply legislation, often adding to the ultimate cost of a law. It's much more powerful than people realize, said John Koskinen, who served as Deputy Director for Management and Budget Office in the 90s and later became Commissioner at the IRS. It sounds very bureaucratic, but most people don't understand how central it is to government operations. Mr. Vought would bring a partisan and ideological viewpoint to the agency, writes the New York Times. which means he's perfect for the role. If they're saying that, again, say it a little slower, a little lower. A longtime fiscal hawk and self-described Christian nationalist, he previously worked for groups such as Heritage Action for America, the House Republican Conference, and the Republican Study Committee. Oh, no. Stephen Moore, a conservative economist who has advised Mr. Trump, said Mr. Vaught would be even more effective in the role this time around because he knew the inner workings of the federal government and the executive branch. He's the one who has the expertise, Mr. Moore said. If there's one thing about Washington, it's that knowledge is power. Archimedes, eat your heart out. After leaving the office, Mr. Vaught founded the Center for Renewing America, a conservative think tank, and was an architect of Project 2025. Oh, no. That document was an effort by conservative groups to develop detailed policy ideas and executive actions that Mr. Trump could take to tear down and rebuild executive government institutions in a way that would enhance presidential power. Its legal underpinning of the agenda is a maximalist version of the so-called unitary executive theory that rejects the idea that the government is composed of three separate branches and argues that presidential power over federal agencies is absolute. Mr. Vaught is expected to garner broad support from Senate Republicans, but to face a barrage of questions from Democrats, like everything else. So this just makes me so happy that the New York Times seems quite worried about this.
So it might happen.
Right. The White House Budget Office is likely to be at the center of any plans to test, get a load of this, the Impoundment Control Act of 1974 and allow Mr. Trump to essentially seize money approved by Congress that he believes is wasteful. And Mr. Vaught is a strong proponent of Mr. Trump's reinstating Schedule F, an executive order issued late in Trump's first presidency, that would have empowered his administration to convert tens of thousands of civil servants to at-will employees who could be more easily fired and replaced. In a speech that Mr. Vaught delivered after leaving the White House and that ProPublica unearthed last year, he described career civil servants as villains and said, "We want the bureaucrats to be traumatically affected." A spokeswoman for Mr. Vaught said the remarks echoed sentiments he had repeatedly expressed publicly over the years. I think this is fantastic. And they can screech about it, they can yell about it, but you lost. And y'all always have your novel theories and ways of going about making your dreams true and your power more entrenched. How about it's time we have a strong American president who understands, with Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk at the helm of Doge, working with Russ Vaught at OMB. I've been saying this for a few months now. I think on day one, they're going to be coming out with executive orders that is going to make Washington, D.C. and folks at the New York Times and folks who are actually part of the real oligarchy scream and moan. They are, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And I think we are not going to be disappointed. 272-9228. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
It's Papa B.
Hey, Papa B.
Hey, guys. So say that again about the White House Budget Office. What are they going to do?
They are going to use the power of OMB to probably do mass layoffs of federal bureaucrats. They're probably going to challenge the Impoundment Act of 1974. Up until Nixon, presidents had the ability and did use the power to say Congress passes a law saying you got to spend $100 million on this, that, or the other. And the president goes, well, actually, I think we only need $50 million to do this, that, or the other, and I'm just going to hold the other 50 in reserve. And that was taken away from presidents in 74. With the new Supreme Court, they're going to challenge that. With the new precedent after the overturn of the Chevron doctrine, which showed deference to these agencies that are unelected, they're going to test that. Like, they are going to move, I think, lightning fast and in ways that really challenge the administrative state. It's going to be glorious.
I think so, too. Well, so read the actual statement one more time.
Which one? There are several.
The first one that came out.
The one that he wants you to read slow.
Yeah, the one that's slow.
Oh, the headline. Russell Vaught poised to expand power of White House Budget Office. If confirmed, Mr. Vaught will be at the center of President-elect Donald Trump's plans to upend the federal bureaucracy.
Man, let me tell you something. That is such great news. Oh, my word. You are right, Joey. They are going to have they're This is going to be the more severe damage to the bureaucratic state than they've ever experienced. I think, well, let's just say since the Roosevelt established it, since the World War II establishment of the bureaucratic state.
Oh, yeah.
I just am thrilled about that one.
And again, the quote from a speech he gave is, "We want the bureaucrats to be traumatically affected."
Oh, Joe, stop it.
See, go get those cigarettes, quick. It's about to be time. We're almost there.
And all of this news on top of, what's happening in foreign countries, the defeat now, more of the same for the left. I kind of am shocked and amazed. I'm usually not surprised about things, but it's just been going for so long, and now we're seeing, this. Well, it's not a retreat yet, but I think it is going to be a headlong retreat before long, and so that I think is good news for everybody. The Gavin Newsom thing down at California, he was the one that kind of clued us all in on what the real problem for them is. That, he talked about, stop them from spreading disinformation and misinformation about the wildfire. This man gets up in the morning lying.
Right.
His stock and trade is a lie. He lives a lie. And he wants to complain about somebody else that he perceives as lying. No, what has happened is what we've talked about all along. They have lost the ability to create and the narrative and maintain the narrative. The press, the brain dead, I guess, moderates and middle cannot ignore what's the name? Said that we are the news now.
Oh, Elon Musk, yeah.
Elon.
Yeah, you are the media now, yeah.
They can't hide from it anymore.
Right.
And that's what they're so upset about, and that's what's really beating them. Now, here's this guy, Gavin Newsom, all right? So his city burns down. The people, the citizens of the place have lost everything. And his little evil mind starts toying with the idea of, just getting rid of all of them. That's like, look, you know what that's like? That's like if you were in a bad traffic accident and went to the emergency room for help, and the surgeon comes in and starts harvesting your organs, selling them while you're still alive. They have lost everything, and that maybe they do deserve it. I'm not saying that they don't, because they're the ones that elected this garbage. But have mercy on some people. My goodness.
Oh, yeah.
And the profiteering that, some of their fellow folks are coming in and doing, it's disgusting. These people are sick. But anyway, I'm very heartened by this, particular bit of news. And I think if we can make it for the next 3 days.
Yeah.
With our 4 days.
There's a lot of people that are nervous.
The whole world coming to unravel, because they're going to try, but if there's a way to create some kind of evil scheme, they will do it. I guarantee it.
Well,
but anyway.
Appreciate it, Papa B.
See you, Papa
B.
B.
Thanks a lot.
No, and I treat this as like it's akin to somebody wants to siege a city, say medieval times. You got the city walls and the moat and all that stuff, and everybody's focused on the main gate. And all of a sudden, somebody figures out, there's a little back door here where you can get inside the walls and just take everybody out.
Right.
And I think that's exactly what's happening. Everybody's focused on the glitz and glam and all this stuff, and how is Trump going to get this through Congress and all this stuff? We already have somebody inside the city walls, and he's about to open the trap door for us. Yeah, and I'm looking at the ProPublica write-up of this guy, and it's just fantastic. For instance, in a speech called "Their Entire Apparatus is Exposed to Our Strategy," That is the title of the speech this Russ Vought guy gave. Their entire apparatus is exposed to our strategy. He said the plans are a response to a Marxist takeover of the country and likened the moment to 1776 and 1860, and said the timing of Trump's candidacy was a gift of God. In his 2024 speech, Vought said he was spending the majority of his time, drafting an agenda for the future Trump presidency. We have detailed agency plans. We are writing the actual executive orders. We are writing the actual regulations now, and we are sorting out the legal authorities for all of what President Trump is running on. We want to be able to shut down the riots and not have the legal community or defense community come and say, that's inappropriate use of what you're trying to do, he said. Interesting. So if you're wondering, how's this all going to go on? Well, some of these folks, I love it, by the way, in ProPublica, they said shadow government in waiting. I mean, like what y'all do.
Yeah.
Also, it's like everything they accuse others of, they done themselves.
Looking in the mirror.
And in fact, that's what they're pissed about. It's like, how dare you do the things we do and do it better to your own ends? Mm-hmm. How dare you? That's not allowed. We're a democracy. Mm-hmm. Said the oligarchs. 272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting. And they're at River Region Contracting. Todd Clark and the team are ready to help you out with that roof of yours. Whether it's an asphalt or a metal roof, that is key. Your home is probably your most expensive and long-term investment, and your roof is a key part of your home. And again, whether it's, asphalt shingles or a metal roof, it should be inspected every few years for basic preventative maintenance. But why not just go beyond basic? Why not get it checked every year?
Why not?
Because, their inspections are always free there at River Region Contracting. Yep. And their estimates are always free. If they do find an issue, they'll write that up. The estimate's accurate.
Very accurate, that's right.
They show up in time to do the job well. And they'd love to really sit down with you, explain this is exactly how we're solving the problem. And if you're getting the roof checked by River Region Contracting every year, mm-hmm. You're not going to, you're going to be on really good footing to tell the insurance company we were not negligent. We were on top of this. It gives the insurance company no excuse to try to deny you a claim. And on top of that, they're River Region Contracting. Todd and the team are insurance specialists, mm-hmm. so they can walk you through that insurance claim process and make it a swift and easy experience. Again, River Region Contracting, they're not associated with any other roofing company in the area. It's Todd Clark there at River Region Contracting. That number, 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them that Joey fella on the radio sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Honey?
Yeah?
Do you think it's safe using all these extension cords?
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
Actually, too many extension cords can be dangerous. Call Crosby Electric to add new outlets.
Sure is dark in our yard.
Good. We'll sleep better.
Maybe you will.
Crosby Electric does landscaping lighting for beauty and safety, as well as security lighting for peace of mind.
Oh, darn. The vacuum cleaner just tripped a breaker.
Honey, never vacuum while I'm making popcorn.
Tripping breakers can indicate a potential fire hazard. You really should have it checked out by Crosby Electric, serving the River region for almost 50 years.
Sweetheart, are you ever afraid that lightning could damage our electrical system?
Afraid? Come on. No. Maybe we should call Crosby. Just give him a call.
Whole house surge protection can protect you and your possessions. For an assessment and for all your electrical needs, call Crosby Electric, 272-2085, or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby likes it.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend, must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
We're enjoying one more fairly mild January day today. Before big changes start, winter is right around the corner. Stand by. A good bit of sunshine today with a high in the low to mid 60s. Dry through the evening hours tonight with rain beginning in the overnight hours and periods of rain Saturday, ending Saturday evening, turning much colder Sunday with a high temperature only in the middle 40s, down to the low 20s by Sunday night into Monday morning. Monday's high temperature on MLK Day only in the mid 30s. Then we're still looking at the possibility of a little bit of light snow sometime during the day, Tuesday or Tuesday evening. We're still a few days away, so that could change. Stay tuned. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader in the studio, as is Craig Munger. And it looks like, gentlemen, well, we have a long-lost friend and caller. He's finally joining us again.
Oh, is he back?
Duke is back. Hey,
Guess
Duke.
who's
Hey, Dookie.
What up, fellas?
What up, Duke?
Wait a minute. What's Craig? Wait a minute, Craig. What I got to drop that E part.
What? I said, what's up, Duke? I think you misheard me. I didn't say Dookie.
You said Dookie.
That's an unfortunate nickname.
Start.
All right. But the reason I called, sir, I listened to Joey and what's the other cat name? My good friend Papa B.
Mm-hmm.
Now, should we go on a Depends drive and raise some Depends for you two guys, or who else? You need some too, Eddie?
Not that I know of.
Depends.
Why? For what?
Well, not Eddie, but Joey and Papa B got mighty excited about Monday. You heard?
I'm pretty excited now.
Wait. Why do I need Depends? Do you crap your pants when you get excited?
Y'all peeing on yourself. Y'all over this thing. See? If Daddy Trump don't come through for y'all money, what you gonna do?
I refuse to pee on myself.
But I'm for real. I'm kind of worried about some of these people because, especially these Bama fans. You know, they already hurt. The feelings already hurt because the football team later. They didn't even lay egg, did they? Anyway, I'm worried about some of these individuals that if Trump don't come through for them, will they survive?
I mean, not everybody, but some people are weak.
Yeah, you do have those.
I'm just going by the excitement I heard out of you and Papa B a while ago. Papa B, he hit a high note, soprano note, one of those Prince sound. Oh man.
Wait, you're saying my conversation with Papa B sounded like the end of Do Me, Baby? That's not fair.
I'll tell y'all, Papa B hit a high note. He's like,
No, I'm saying it's just they're hitting that spot, Duke.
I don't know, your Papa B, you just sounded kind of, you got it too excited, that old boy. But what's been going on though, fella?
I was just getting through the week and 3 days until the big guy's sworn in.
That's right.
Okay.
People are having parties. I got invited to an inauguration party.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that's a thing.
I heard Snoop was going to be up in there.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Nah, Trump's a 50 guy through and through.
50 Cent?
Yeah.
I can see that.
But Fisher wouldn't take that $3 million the last time they tried to pay him for him. Fisher said he don't want to get involved in politics.
I bet he'll come around this go around.
Yeah.
He's just reading that Kanye not in the country now because Kanye, he got in politics too deep there.
He's loving all those royalty checks he's getting from Mini Man.
Yes. Yeah, he is.
What's your favorite 50 song, Duke? Got to check your black card here.
Which one? I like the In the Club and all that stuff, and
That's a good one. It's a good one.
You're gonna like one. That's a good
that's
one.
about the only one that I really like. That really, let me see, is Many Men. I don't care for Many Men.
Oh, do you also hate things that sound good?
Well, Craig, let me get at you for a minute, Craig. I heard you was picking on the governor last week, sir.
I maybe just a little, not really, kinda.
Well, and I definitely dogpiled on with that.
Yeah.
I heard our brother Connor Sanders that didn't like that well.
No, not too much. But I think it's a legitimate question that we ask someone who's very much not in the public eye and who is very much up there in years, like whether or not she's capable of running the executive branch of the state.
What was she doing, Mr. Craig? What you trying to say in so many words?
I'm sorry, say that again?
What was you trying to say in so many words? What she's up to?
Oh, I'm saying that she's very much not in the public eye. She hasn't made a public appearance until the last State of the State.
Right.
She's getting up there in years. There's both reported and unreported instances of her declining health. They're my two eyes, and everyone else's eyes that can see that that there are some issues there, and I think it's a legitimate question, wondering whether or not she's going to finish out her term.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that. Okay, I don't say health issues.
Well, I mean, no, that is true. I mean, there's been speculation for a while. She had to get checked out by EMTs at a Caroline Dobson event a few months ago, and there's been other rumors of her having fainting spells and stuff like that. And of course, a lot of that stuff doesn't get reported because people, the people in Montgomery want to be nice. They don't want to feel like they're picking on an old lady, but it's our job to ask the question. I mean, these are the same people that spent years bashing Joe Biden for his obvious decline in his health, and I think it's a question that deserves asking, and it's one that doesn't get very much in the way of answers from the office.
Yeah, you got to be careful, son. You get tapped on the hand for talking about bad like that, boy.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, like
some people like
you'll wake up and there's Liz Fillmore like ready to cut you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll see how it goes next week and everything. I'll be tuned in. And
what are you going to be drinking for the inauguration, Duke? I want to know.
Let me see. From zero sugar or berry juice from Ocean Spray, something like that.
What?
Zero sugar Ocean Spray berry juice.
I didn't know you were transitioning.
I've been transitioning.
Do you have a urinary tract infection and also hate things that taste good?
UTI. I had to keep things on track, son.
I can understand that, actually. Yeah, guys.
Yeah, that's actually.
I turned 30 this week, and I'm starting to think very much about things.
Watch out for the diabetes.
Y'all wait until you have to start bringing prunes into your diet.
Hold a minute.
It's coming.
I'm not drinking this for no health reasons like that. I've been drinking this healthy stuff for years, when I used to work out. So I drink very little sodas, okay? Don't drink any alcohol anymore, but it's not because I'm a young man, reason for doing that, sir. So
what do you have against sodas?
Bad for you.
Yeah.
They are kind of bad for you.
Not a big soda guy.
Yeah, I'm not a
Drink
soda
maybe
guy
one a
either.
week.
I'm going to get side with Duke on this one, Greg.
Freaking want to live forever.
Well, Duke, I got to run, man. I do have to hit this break. Great hearing from you.
Y'all been watching in the basketball a little bit?
Auburn.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit, not much.
Bama got beat the other night.
Of course. Oh, really? Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate. I thought they were basketball school now.
That's next week.
Yeah. I had to juke at him any kind of chance I can get,
Well, I appreciate the call, Duke.
All right, I'll be winding up ready to go next week now.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, Monday should be fun.
Get your stuff ready.
Yeah, I'm just laid back right now, just chilling.
Cool.
Don't
right.
wait so long in between calls next time. I ain't heard from you. You hurt my feelings.
Well, feeling made to be hurt sometimes.
What do you do?
Later, dude. 272-928. You wanna come in on Monday? Can you?
I'll try, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna
Why
have a
not?
good
Let's
time,
have
man.
fun.
Is it going to be mid inauguration?
I haven't checked the times. If it is,
Oh, I
we'll
don't
just
even know.
carry it
Let's see what
live
time
and
it
have
goes,
fun watching what's happening. So.
Well, but what we need a drinking game. I'll obviously have to get some of Duke's fruity ocean spray,
right.
But y'all can definitely have non-alcoholic beverages. Totally.
Oh, of course, yeah. Nice seltzer.
A nice seltzer,
Mm-hmm.
dude. What is it, dude? Politicians love their vodka seltzers. It's unreal.
I hear some of them like Zima.
9 a.m. supposed to. Gates will open at 9 a.m. and supposed to start 12:30, 1 o'clock. We'll see.
Okay.
But with all of it going inside, that might change that.
Yeah, who
schedule
knows?
too,
We'll see as the day happens. This part of the program, in fact, the entire hour brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you, actually buy a home.
That's right.
They can walk you through that home buying process if you've never done it before. It all starts with a phone call, and they get you that pre-approval after you answer a few basic questions. That phone call, just call them up at 567-4223. And from pre-approval all the way to closing day, they will walk with you every step of the way. And, of course, they can also help you with a great refinance deal. Say, credit card debt hasn't gone away.
Right.
So maybe it's time to get that credit card debt off your back with a great refinance deal. Or it could be you're looking to take cash out or reinvest in your property, yourself, your family. Whatever the reasons, they can walk you through to help you meet your goals with a great refinance there at Alabama Home Mortgage. So again, that number, 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies like Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender. Michael Cohen should be on the other side here.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson with the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. My last message was the report for 2024 real estate market in the River Region. According to industry experts, they predict for 2025 we will have more inventory to choose from for our buyers, more buyers for sellers to show their houses to. Here are 5 tips for buyers or sellers in 2025. Number 1, sellers need to price their home at fair market value with the help of your realtor. Number 2, buyers need to be pre-qualified by a local lender prior to shopping for a house to save them time. Number 3, use a certified residential specialist or CRS to purchase or sell your home. Less than 2% of realtors nationwide have this designation. You need an expert now. 4, use someone with 48 years of real estate experience to help you with your largest investment. Number 5, quit waiting. Now's the time to buy or sell. Call Bo Goodson at 221-2883, the Goodson Group, or 551-0225.
Before you buy new floors at a discount store and get them installed by the cousin of a friend who does this kind of thing, consider the better option. Prattville Carpet carries the most reputable brands for selection, style, and quality you can trust. And with their non-transferable lifetime installation warranty, you'll never have to worry about hardwood warping or carpet buckling. Your floors will stay as beautiful as the day they installed them.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measure. Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1 WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen with Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing all right. And what's the score there today, Cohen?
It's 28-7.
Nice. 28-7.
That's right. So everything has been going good. Michael Jack's been humping it this week. We got some TVs in this morning that, he's installing this afternoon, and I hate for things to get cut so close, but anyway, he's making it happen. Anyway, how's everything with you? I see you have a partner with you today.
Oh, yeah. Eddie is here. He's actually here today.
I'm here.
So is Craig, but
yeah,
that's not what we're talking about. Eddie is here.
Eddie's in the house. So
I'm glad to hear y'all miss me.
We did miss you.
Yeah, dearly.
I mean, Joey probably had to take out the trash by himself.
That's right.
Yeah, and I don't like to have to do that. Like, it just cinching up the bag and stuff. It's just, and I always tear
I
it.
get it. Full blue collar action.
Yeah, I know. It's just I'm out of my depth in that way. So wait, people are getting TVs installed last second before, I guess, this national championship game?
Yes, sir. Everything was revolving around the game. And this gentleman came in. He bought the top of the line Sony 65, and I want to say he lives in Upholds, Hatchie area. And anyway, Michael Jackson ought to be there by now, getting it set up, and he's going to let him look at a Sonos while he's there, and
nice.
We'll see what happens. Yes.
Well, y'all check out Cohen's today. You can always go to thinkcohens.com to shop, peruse from home. Or if you already know something you want, you can call them direct, 277-8890. But I really encourage you to stop by the Boulevard there, 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. They're open 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And be sure to find Michael and be like, hey, I heard you on that radio show. And Eddie was there that day.
Yeah.
That's right. That way we'll know which day it was.
Exactly.
Y'all have a great weekend.
You too, Michael. Stay warm, brother.
Got to hit this top of the hour break. Final hour coming up. I don't know what this show has been. It's been a little all over the place. Honestly, I feel like I've got something coming on. Like, I've been bragging about I haven't been sick in like a year, but
You got an itch?
Yeah, I don't feel myself.
Rash
And maybe
as
it's
well?
working out too hard. No rash.
Okay.
No.
Stop it with your wishful thinking.
No, just check it in.
Last weekend, I got hit with whatever it was, and thanks to my wife's crunchy voodoo witch doll trickery, which involves drinking a lot of very unpleasant tinctures. It was crushed in about 2 days. But dude,
Nice.
I was donezo. I was on the couch praying for death while my children grabbed me by the hair and said, "Daddy, wake up!"
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel a little off, a little tired.
No tired.
Yeah, I felt like, why is this workout so tough this morning? It was one of those. I'm like, what is...
I'm tired, boss. Dog tired. Man, I'm just tired of people being so ugly to one. Dude, speaking of which, I watched that for the first time in a while the other week. Like last week, I cried like a little girl.
Is that right?
Really?
The Green Mile? Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh.
man.
Speaking of which, did you talk about Lynch? Mr. Lynch passing
David
away?
Lynch
Yeah.
did pass away, yeah. Well, here, let's hit the break.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll come back to that.
From the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office says the meeting of the full cabinet has begun on an agreement that would pause the 15-month war with Hamas and release dozens of hostages held there. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem promising to be a tough hand in carrying out President-elect Donald Trump's vision for the sprawling Department of Homeland Security, including his plans to crack down on border security. Noem says she's determined to carry out Trump's plans to choke off illegal immigration and deport millions of migrants. Ohio Lieutenant Governor John Husted is Republican Governor Mike DeWine's pick to succeed Vice President-elect J.D. Vance in the U.S. Senate. On Wall Street, stocks remain higher. The Dow up 383 points, the Nasdaq adding 332. This is SRN News.
Hey everybody, Charlie Kirk here. Making America Great Again starts with making America healthy again. I lost 40 pounds with the PhD weight loss and nutrition program, and 2 years later, I haven't gained a pound back. I started the PhD weight loss and nutrition program because I needed to be healthy to keep up with my crazy schedule. Most people start a weight loss program to get healthier. So why is Big Pharma spending millions to convince you to use their weight loss injections that do just the opposite? Do your homework. Weight loss injections have harmful side effects and lifelong dependency. Take a natural approach that isn't connected to Big Pharma's bottom line. PhD changes the way you think about food. You'll learn to quiet cravings and finally release the unhealthy belly fat. PhD Weight Loss is leading the charge to make America healthy again. Text the word healthy to 717767 or visit myphdweightloss.com. That's the word healthy to 717767. It's worked for me. It'll work for you. 717767. Text the word healthy.
Rich Thomas weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend. Must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
Well, hi, everybody. Our weather luck is about to run out. Big weather changes are on the way. We're dry through the evening hours tonight with the rain holding off till late tonight after midnight. Periods of rain overnight and Saturday, and ending Saturday evening with Saturday's high in the middle 60s, but then sharply colder Sunday with a high only in the mid-40s. We're down to the low 20s by Sunday night into Monday morning. Highs only in the mid-30s on MLK Day Monday. Then we're still looking at that possibility of some winter weather with a storm system moving across the south with the details still yet to emerge. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
1819 News.
U.S. Senator Katie Britt is sponsoring a bill that seeks to end the practice within courts of giving deference to government agencies as they consider a case being brought against that agency, typically by U.S. citizens or businesses. The Separation of Powers Restoration Act would create a standard for courts to approach a case with a brand new perspective rather than incorporating assumptions that favor the government agency in that ruling. Senator Britt says there's no reason for unelected bureaucrats to wield near absolute power, especially when the U.S. Constitution empowers the legislative branch to make new laws that hold these government agencies accountable and protect citizens from over-regulatory actions. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
I'm Amy Beth Shaper with Alabama Unfiltered Radio, and when I need the news and I need it fast, I turn to Andrea Tice and the Daily Detail. On my way in, it is the most convenient, best way for me to digest what's going on so that I can use it for our show. She tells you what's going on in Alabama that day first and fast. So listen to the Daily Detail with Andrea Tice. Don't miss out.
The Daily Detail is available wherever podcasts are found.
An Auburn man has been sentenced to 2 years in prison, 10 years probation, and ordered to pay restitution for defrauding a 91-year-old elderly lady. 50-year-old James Langford pleaded guilty to embezzling over $600,000 from the victim over the course of 2 years. Langford was serving as a trustee to the victim's bank account. When the embezzlement happened, Langford can no longer work as a registered broker. The Mardi Gras tree was officially lit last night in the city of Mobile. That event had to be delayed by a week due to the winter weather that hit the state of Alabama last week. The tree lighting occurred in Mardi Gras Park with Mobile Mayor Sandy Stimpson flipping the light switch. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Now you can add the power of digital advertising to the number one reach of radio. Let Blue Water's 20 years of local advertising and marketing success show you how. Grow your business with a complete suite of digital solutions, combined with the reach of the most listened to radio group in the River region. Call us or go to BlueWaterBroadcasting.com to find out how we can increase your return on investment. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
For more information, send an email to digital@BlueWaterBroadcasting.com.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 special. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Anyway, I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness. And
there are those that think I'm a very stable genius.
I got hairy legs.
They're all different shades of color. They're like sort of white, but one's like orange white. My favorite color, orange.
This is a Trump country. We live in the Southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Joey Clark.
Welcome into the final hour here of the program. 334-272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. There's so many different directions we could go. But the passing of David Lynch, that is pretty poignant for some. I have to admit, I never really gotten into David Lynch. I'm not saying I'm not a fan, like I watched it and didn't like it. It's more like I just never, I think the only thing of his I've seen is like Dune.
Yeah, the original Dune.
Which is a mess
Did you
of a
see
movie.
The Elephant Man? I mean, right before your time. But
Oh, is that a Lynch movie?
yeah.
Oh, the black and white one,
yeah.
right?
The 1980 version. We lived overseas. That's where I saw it.
Huh.
I didn't even know there was such a disease, much less
That movie hit me real rough as a kid. I watched it as a kid, and it was very unsettling.
Yeah.
Well, that's what all of Lynch's movies are unsettling.
Yeah, that's the only one. I think we saw Blue Velvet when I was in high school, but
yeah.
Eraserhead is his too. It's from
No,
Terry Stedman.
really?
Oh,
okay, yeah, that's the true art house film that put him on the map.
Yeah,
okay. And that's a crazy movie. Right?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's nuts.
And-
And so I'm not like a huge fanboy, but I can appreciate his. Maybe it's just because I have like a fondness for these old school directors that took a lot of pride in their art, which doesn't seem to happen very much in filmmaking these days. So yeah, Twin Peaks was again very unsettling. Very unsettling.
It was a weird thing because it had all this stuff around it, like it was incredibly popular, but then it just stopped. And as it was getting popularity, it went away, like at its peak.
Well, then they did the show, which kind of follows the same characters, and that one they tried to take a more humorous approach to it. But then they did the release. I can't remember what it's called. It's Twin Peaks colon and something, where they did like 90 extra minutes of unreleased stuff because Lynch's movies, and this is very much the same with Lost Highway, where you finish watching and you're like, okay, I don't think I exactly know what happened here. Almost like Tenet. Did you watch Tenet?
Right.
Where you have to watch it multiple times to kind of understand. So yeah, I mean, he was one of the good ones. People that actually took credit in creating very nuanced art that was meant to inspire something. Kind of like a Stephen King before he became a liberal weirdo. Like he wanted you to sort of to create something emotional through his novels, and that's what David Lynch did with his films, very much like Kubrick.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And but Kubrick was one of those ones where you're like, what are you... There's something you're trying to tell us that you exist on a separate plane.
Well, like,
that
for
we
instance,
can't know.
2001 Space Odyssey, that movie, every time I sit and watch it, blows my hair back.
Yeah.
That is, because it's what's left unsaid, it's what's implied. And from what I know about David Lynch, he was sort of a master at that sort of unsettle somebody's psychology to make you go, what the heck is this? It's sort of like the nightmare right on the edge of your consciousness. You don't really know what happened, but it happened and it had an effect on you. I don't know. Some part of me is like, directors need to get out of the game early.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, for instance, Tarantino, I think he's got one more.
Yeah.
He's going to do. And this week, my grandfather had never seen Inglourious Bastards. I figured that he wouldn't like a lot of Tarantino movies. I'm probably not going to show him Pulp Fiction anytime soon, or Kill Bill, I don't think is his jam either.
Yeah,
but what's hilarious is the opening, like, big orchestral Western song, like with strings is a big thing.
Yeah.
My grandfather started singing along to it, knowing the words. He's like, I don't know the song. And we couldn't figure out the song, but he like knew one of the verses because he's really into old Western like music, like true cowboy music. And so that movie is like a take on all sorts of things. It's got Western elements, Dirty Dozen, like old war exploitation movies. And man, watching that movie with somebody who hadn't seen it before, fantastic film.
Man, I'm telling you, man, getting married to someone who was like a complete novice to films, it's been one of the greatest things in my life that I get to watch someone watch these movies that you kind of just assume that everyone's seen for the first time. I remember when I made my wife watch Seven for the first time.
God. Yeah. What's in the box?
Mortified.
Oh man.
I used to have a video, and I don't. What?
I think I just something connected. The same horror that Brad Pitt has at the end of Seven about what's in the box. I think Progressive right now are reacting to this guy. This clip's been making the rounds. This Russell Vought guy we've been talking about at OMB. Let's listen in.
America needs someone we can trust to tackle our government's bloated budget, to root out waste and restore accountability. As OMB director, Russell Vought will enforce fiscal discipline and ensure our government works for we the people. Returning to the role from the first Trump administration, Vought's been there before and delivered real results. Unapologetically principled, Vought stands firm against the status quo, with the courage and conviction needed to lead. There's a reason bureaucrats fear him, and it's exactly why we need him.
These AI videos are getting out of control.
Spooky, dude. Spooky.
Now, talk about unsettling. That's giving me Uncanny Valley vibes.
Did you see the portraits for Vance and Trump? They looked very AI.
Yeah. You didn't like them?
I didn't like them.
I like them. Trump's I liked way more than Vance. Vance looked like a face swap.
Yeah, I'm looking at JD's right now. Maybe it's just overexposure, because I think it's photos of them. The way it was developed and produced eventually, because it looks like it was enhanced in some way.
It's really going to be spooky when over the next several years, where it's literally going to be indistinguishable. They're gonna make entire movies.
Yeah.
Where nobody had to leave their house.
Yeah. Well, and here's this is a former CIA agent who is now a senator named Senator Slotkin. She was a trip to listen to with the whole Pete Hegseth one.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Boy, say her name right.
Did you see the meme where it's the scene in Dumb and Dumber? You want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Yeah,
and it's Elizabeth Warren and Kirsten Gillibrand?
Or the one where they had all of the women speaking at once, and he's just sitting there with his eyes closed.
But this is Senator Slotkin, former CIA Senator Slotkin, demands one example of administrative state bureaucracies being weaponized against the American people.
Okay.
Apparently, this guy has the answer.
You said that OMB was not an agency where you had a bureaucratic problem. But which bureaucracies specifically do you believe have been weaponized?
Again, I'm not going to get into all of the agencies that I believe have some of those characteristics.
Give an example of one.
I think, the Department of Justice is clearly one that has bureaucracies within it that engaged in trying to take out their own president during the first term. The extent to which the FBI goes and investigates someone that comes to a school board meeting in Loudoun County for being concerned about the situation with his daughter, and then gets investigated as a domestic terrorist.
You actually had answers.
Yeah, I know. When she said that, I was like, how much time do you have?
Right. How much time do you have indeed?
Like seriously, and of course he gave the most blatant example. It's like, you remember when American intelligence agencies conspired to take down a sitting president?
Yeah, framed him for treason, essentially.
Yeah, I think that's kind of significant.
Yeah, just a little bit significant. Just a little bit, not a lot. Just a little. I'm trying to find the one Hegseth meme that you were talking about, where it's like 4 different talking heads just.
Yeah. It's on my page. I'm way less prolific than you are.
Okay. We need the comedy break. I played this earlier in the week. I still think it's hilarious. I got to play this again. This is Nate Bargatze, but old school. It's not recent. This is when he's pretty young. Let's listen in.
Thought about time travel. If I went back in time, knowing everything I know now, I don't think I would make a difference. I don't think you would even hear about it. If I went back to the 20s and I like saw some guy on like an old phone, I'd be like, hey, eventually they have phones you just carry in your pocket. And he'd be like, yeah, how do they do it? It's like, you know, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how they're doing it. It's like a satellite or something. And they'd be like, what's a satellite? Well, I shouldn't have even brought that up then. It's like a round metal dish or something. Like it's got to go pretty high in the air. I honestly don't think I could prove I'm from the future. I mean, they would want some proof, you know? Who's the next president? Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, gotta love that guy.
Oh, that's the funniest thing I've heard in a while. It reminds me of an old Joe Rogan bit that he did. This is like decades ago.
Yeah.
Where he was talking about how, like, we're not smart, we just buy stuff from smart
Okay.
people.
Yep.
He's like, if you had unlimited time and I left you alone in the woods with a hatchet, how long before you could send me an email?
Right.
Like,
Heck. Like my survival skills in that situation and just surviving might be a little suspect.
It's so funny. My wife and I don't know if you've seen it yet, American Primeval on Netflix. Highly recommend.
Okay.
Highly recommend. It sucks. This is what sucks about being married to a know-it-all like my wife is. We start watching it and they mention the Mormons and she was like confused, like Mormons. And so I don't know what the show's about. So I expound on the history of the Utah settlement and Brigham Young becoming the governor of the thing or whatever. I lay out the history, the Mountain Meadows Massacre, thinking I'm just giving her some background.
Yeah.
And I spoiled the entire show for her. But there is like a subsect, like a fictional story within a broader historical narrative.
Yeah.
But I was just telling my wife, and we're watching this, and it's very much like The Revenant, where you're just like, man, I would be dead so fast.
Oh, yeah.
So fast. Like, how
The
anyone
first
survived.
family that was making the, I think I've seen the previews, and the guy was actually doing surveying his property.
Yeah.
And like 2 days later, a guy comes through, and that guy is no more.
And I'm thinking of what would be the tactics to actually survive? What was the show where it was like people had to take cameras with them?
Naked and Afraid?
No, I think it's just called Alone.
Alone, yeah.
And pretty incredible. One of the guys who won one season, he did nothing. Like he realized, okay, I'm not going to exert a bunch of energy. I have a shelter, but I know I can forage for snails if I really need sustenance.
Yeah.
But most of the time, he literally just laid on the ground and just hung out.
Bought his time. It's just buying time, man.
Right. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of the route probably to go.
It's kind of brilliant.
Until a bear shows up.
Yeah, I mean, in that situation, eventually somebody's going to show up. You got the push button. But if you're on your own, and like Craig said, you got the hatchet.
Well, if you could fish, say craft a spear and their fish coming right
easy,
up,
man.
it's not easy though.
It's not. No,
But also the water has an effect, right, where the fish isn't where it looks like from you looking down at the water, so you have to anticipate
shoot
it.
below the fish.
Yeah.
So me and my buddies used to do a thing where we'd go camping for a few days, but we wouldn't bring any food with us. We might bring some condiments just because we wanted to see, and we would bring fishing stuff, and just one day the fish weren't biting.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
And we were real hungry, and luckily, thank God, I almost stepped on a copperhead, or excuse me, a cottonmouth on the way back, and that was supper.
I was eating.
And we were starving, and I realized, and this was in the middle of like summer, it wasn't really cold. I realized, man, if it was up to me to survive by my wits, I would survive exactly the amount of time that someone can survive without food. That's exactly how long I would survive.
When we lived in Alaska in high school, they kind of required our courses, and one of them was just outdoor survival. And so you had a semester, and you learned everything from starting fires to literally skiing, skating, everything outdoors. One of the greatest things about that was in Alaska, you could go 30 minutes out of town. It was not uncommon for people to die.
Right.
Just going on a simple hike, weather change.
You still know how to start the fire that way?
Oh, yeah. I can start a fire with water.
Huh?
Yep.
How?
You take a little piece of wire, and you make like an eye drop, like a lasso. You put a very small drop of water in there, and you get it to hold. You use the sun and a magnifying glass, and you don't have to use a magnifying glass. You ain't got one, but you will start a fire.
Yeah,
so the sun refracted through the water drop.
Yep.
Yeah, you can do the same thing with ice. If you have a piece of ice, you smooth it out with your hands. Even snow, you smooth it, and then you let the light refract. But again, you're just so dead.
And that's the other thing. Yeah, in this room, we could recreate it. Now let's get out in the wilderness, and you got everything going at you,
dodging arrows.
Where do we get a wire?
Right, exactly. Who brought the wire? Who brought the wire?
I remember when I was in China, we and a whole bunch of other people went camping in the lower Himalayas in the middle of winter, and that's cold that you can't even comprehend. And the snow was up to my waist, and we decided to get into a snowball fight in the far away from camp, and we ended up getting wet. And I was shivering for 2 days. And we had tents and fire and spam. It's like, if that happened to you and you're just like, you have to make a shelter, you're just dead. You're just done.
You can't get that. You're right. You can't shake that cold. You can't get it out of you.
No, you can't do it. I was in a tent wrapped up in a sleeping blanket with a fire
shivering.
right outside.
By the way, it's Friday, 272-9228. We're all over the place. By design, this is the meme. It's one of the funnier things came out this week. Pete Hegseth taking on Senator Warren, Senator Shaheen, Senator Duckworth, Senator Gillibrand. Let's just listen in.
Veterans organizations that will help our veterans get every damn thing that they deserve because they signed on the dotted line.
Oh, with all the sisters growing up.
That is just bringing back memories right there.
But it's not even just the sisters. It's like, how many men have you seen on the phone with their wives?
Oh, yeah.
That have that exact face of just like, okay, if I smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day and drink 2 6-packs in the evening, I can probably hang out for like I can take probably like 10 years off.
And by the way, I love that Tom Cotton read this like based quote where it's like women have to meet these standards, yada, yada, yada. And he goes, oh, by the way, and you agree with this Army officer, Mr. Hegseth? Yeah, sure, I agree. And Cotton's like, by the way, this is from so-and-so. She was the first ever graduate from Ranger School. And like the first woman ever did.
So it's like woman, I wasn't aware that a woman ever passed Ranger School.
Yeah, so like the woman who really is a badass is like, yeah, you better have high standards.
Yeah.
And it's
what is it? Oh, it's Buds. That's right. But no woman's ever passed.
I don't think
but that's during that.
But what about G.I. Jane?
During that that testimony back and forth, when I worked at Hyundai, they did that where we had, okay, you've got a tough job, all right, in Skies. I mean, we had a wrench that literally weighed 80 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they said, hey, we got a girl that wants that job, and you guys have an opening, and we're going to put her in there. Okay. Hey,
she
we
better
noticed,
be strong.
Right. We noticed that some things aren't getting done that's supposed to get done. Yeah, that's her shift. Well, why? Well, she can't even lift the wrench. Well, we need to make it so she can do this job. They spent, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars before she finally said, you know what? I'm just going to go back to
80-pound wrench.
job.
That's a heck of that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's amazing in this, thank you, Rubio, talking about the post-war liberal consensus, because feminism is a part of that. When did it become offensive to say that there are simply things that women can't do?
And that was her thing, the physical part of it, just taking some, you had filter pots. You had to change them out several times a shift. Just taking those apart, she couldn't do it. It wasn't she didn't want to. She just physically could not do it.
Yeah.
Well, and I love the point, too, that I think Jordan Peterson popularized, looking at sort of the literature that they did these sort of raw data studies where you control for the egalitarian nature of the laws in given countries.
Mm-hmm.
So you compared like Denmark and Saudi Arabia and China and the United States. And so you sort of rank order like all the different, how egalitarian are the laws? How often and how much are they trying to use the law to manipulate the social side of who human beings are and then or not. And what they found is the more you control to make equality between men and women, actually the differences between men and women became more exaggerated.
Yeah.
Which makes common sense. Yeah. It makes common sense that if you control for the culture or the nurture, then nature takes a pretty prominent role.
Yeah.
And it's something that I think is going on in this country where people aren't learning yet. We had a Joe Reed. You missed him this week. He was on Wednesday.
I'd love to see Joe, man.
And he was getting into he talking to people in his life that they're just men who will never vote for a woman to be commander in chief. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to deny that, but I also don't think that's why Kamala lost.
No.
At the end of the day, because I think there are plenty of women right now rising up in politics who are going to do quite well for themselves and probably will be president one day.
But what's wrong with saying it takes the right woman?
That was my point. And
I
it
can't
does
think
have
of one that I would vote for president. I can't think of one that exists right now.
Even Xena Warrior Princess?
No, not even Xena.
Margaret Thatcher.
Margaret Thatcher, she kind of bungled the Balkans, dude. Like,
well,
I mean,
the Balkans or the Falklands?
The Falklands. What did I say?
What island are you talking about?
Sorry. Why am I thinking the Balkans? See, no, the thing is, I'm going through a whole historical thing in my head. I realized so I got turned around. Excuse me.
Well, and also, like, you look at the history of, like, just the West.
Yeah.
There's been look up, like, just Greek and Roman history. There are a lot of powerful women. They weren't necessarily emperor or empress, but very, very powerful. So my point of view is, no, women certainly have disadvantages compared to men. Sometimes it is more social and cultural, but they also have many advantages men don't have.
Yeah. How
So
many
it's-
pretty women you see drive a piece of junk car? Let's just start with that.
What you nailed that point. Like, got it. Dropping some wisdom here. I'm like, what are you even talking about?
Again, I grew up in a house full of women. They're always persecuted, but I ain't never seen none of them have to walk nowhere. They always seem to have a ride. They always have a good car.
And if they have that good car, they will do everything
By
they
the
can
way,
to keep it.
Thank you.
When he takes on this cadence, there's no talking.
I actually used this analogy in a Bible study one time about the necessity for men to give their spouses sufficient tools to, because women have a different role. They're home. You know this so. By the way, when babies show up, you see this so clearly. They just know what to
100%.
do. They just know what to do. Meanwhile, you're like, what is this?
You're holding it
thing?
by the foot.
Yeah,
going,
right.
What is the thing? Now you love it, but they just know what to do.
Right.
But you have to give them the tools that they need to do what they do best. And I use this analogy of this woman that used to go to my gym. She would show up in her G-Wagon, white G-Wagon, clean, had, let's just say, some augmentations done.
Sure.
Okay.
And, but she was not scared of Botox either. And she would hit that elliptical with like just this passion. And that passion was, you could just tell, I am keeping my G-Wagon. She attacked that elliptical like her life depended on it, because it did. She was like, I am staying hot for this man because he buys me stuff.
And one thing, by the way, I find amazing, the more I get into like at least studying the bodybuilding stuff, is you find these differences between men and women built in, it's just, they show up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, for instance, women recover much faster.
Yeah, they do.
So there's all sorts of little things that might pop up and then take it this perspective. Maybe I'm wrong about this. I tend to think I'm onto something here. That if you look at like politics, like take a full-on Machiavellian, realistic, like just pragmatic, maybe even cynical view of how politics works. His basic lesson is you need to combine the attributes of the lion and the fox. You need to know how to be incredibly violent and inspire fear when necessary, but you also need to know how to deceive and trick people and all these other things. Well, what is emphasized more in our political process now? Trickery and lying and deception and appearing good while maybe doing things sometimes necessary that aren't good? Or is it sort of the warrior who goes and slays the Gauls and comes back? Obviously, it answers itself. Mm-hmm. We're much more about deception in our politics in our society than you think about just the basics of men and women. Men tend to fight. If they bully one another, it's physical. It's in your face. It's all this stuff. Yep. Whereas the go-to for most women, and again, it's on average, there are always exceptions, but on average, it's reputational destruction.
Yeah.
And my point is, the more society relies on literacy, the more it relies on the word and reputation and all this stuff, women are obviously going to rise in politics. They have a skill set there that men don't.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just a matter of time. Like when you look at Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton, you're like, oh my God, no, they're not the right person.
Mm-mm. They're very masculine. Hillary especially was very masculine in her political strategies. But it wasn't ostensibly feminine what she did. Whereas you see modern day political, especially the ones that are successful, they're very genteel, they're very sweet,
yes,
and they're very tactical.
Well, and I made this point to Senator Britt's face after she won in 2022. I said, I never heard you yourself say, "I'll be the first female senator." Maybe other people said it for her or thought it, but I never heard that was not a main thrust of her campaign, at least not explicitly. It wasn't a feminist campaign. And I think Hillary in particular ran a feminist campaign, and I don't know what the heck Kamala was doing. Just that
party,
it's a whole other mess.
That's just a big party.
But then you look at like, okay, what other women are rising up in politics? Like we could be homers, be like, yeah, God love you, Senator Britt, go far. Mm-hmm. But look at other, say, female senators like Elizabeth Warren.
You look at
she going to be president?
No.
Yeah. Come on, so just say Anna Paulina Luna. That's where you're going.
That wasn't where I was going.
Go ahead and skip ahead.
Yeah.
I'm happy to look into it, but
of course
do my research. But
look into it.
I'll look into. I'll do the research. I I will withhold judgment. Is that the term?
But of course
I
you
will
will.
withhold
But
judgment
of course you will.
until the time
Ed-
comes.
Eddie-
Maybe Nancy Mace, who knows? Like,
Eddie, answer
take
me,
it outside.
Answer me this: How do you think that young Joseph over here? Do you think that he has plugged Anna Paulina Luna's pictures into ChatGPT and asked for certain?
I can tell you now, as soon as he puts in the first 3 letters of her name, that automatically pops up.
You
Would
searched
like
for
to
this
return?
45
Yeah,
minutes ago.
Exactly.
Y'all insult me too much. You think I didn't know you thought so lowly of me. I put on a show, but come on, I'm much more wholesome than that.
Oh, you delete your browser history?
No, it's AI. What about the real thing? 272-9228. What I was going towards, though,
Sorry.
is I think the moment that sort of stole the show in the Hegseth hearing was this little moment here that starts with Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, the moral drill bit of Massachusetts, and Coach Tuberville's reply as well.
You're quite sure that every general who serves should not go directly into the defense industry for 10 years. You're not willing to make that same pledge?
I'm not a general, Senator.
You'll be the one, let's just be clear, in charge of the generals. So you're saying sauce for the goose, but certainly not sauce for the gander?
Why does she sound like a husky?
What is this? When did the goose get sauce in these analogies?
Yeah.
It's like what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Where did sauce come in?
But I
She hungry?
love that laughter, every time laughter destroys. You're trying to work this up serious point, but it keeps going here.
I would want to see what the policy of the
Oh,
president
I'll
is.
bet you.
Thank you, Senator Warren. Senator Tuberville.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thanks for your hard work and your committee's hard work, Mr. Chairman. This has gone well. I'd like to submit this letter, topic conduct at Vets for Freedom for Hegseth. I'd like to submit that for the record, please.
Without objection.
Mr. Hegseth, thanks for being here today and with your family. I know this is tough. That's what it's all about, though. You're a tough guy.
And by the way, I think it was Senator Sheehy who asked him like all sorts of fastball questions. He goes, how many push-ups can you do?
Yeah.
And
Right,
Hegseth
yeah.
goes, I did 3 sets of 47 this morning. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I haven't
That's
done
not bad.
push-ups in 10 years.
I did deficit push-ups this morning.
Those are really good. Good stretch at the bottom.
Yeah.
End of the workout.
No, and I'd bet I could do fresh like 40, maybe 50 push-up, normal push-ups. This, I got my structure was 17, 14, 8, and 17 was very tough with the deficits. So,
Yeah,
anyway.
Hegseth, he's a man.
He's fit.
The thing is, I want. Yeah, he's very fit. But the problem is now. So I've been planning to get a Jerusalem cross tattooed on this hand for the longest time,
Yeah.
and now I'm just going to look like a bandwagoner because old Hegseth is on it. Tisk tisk.
Yeah, but then people will ask you about the history of Christendom,
Actually,
and
yeah,
they'll be
you'll
like,
be able
nah,
to-
he's not a pretender.
Yeah, and then I'm just going to get Deus Vult across the fingers just to really let people know that
The only
It's
knuckle or the only
crusade style.
tattoos I ever saw across the fingers that I respected when I was in 7th grade, and we had like a 19-year-old in there, and it said "Big Cheese," and it spelled CHEZZ.
2 Z's, 1 E. That
It's
makes
like,
sense.
By the way, on you mentioning the Crusades, did you see that Michael Knowles, of all folks, who's pretty well learned in like the whole history there, gets into it? I can't type today. On Piers Morgan, got into an argument with a few folks about the Crusades.
Yeah.
And I can't find it here immediately. Maybe we'll find it out of the break.
No, it's amazing. There's a big resurgence of people who, again, post-war liberal consensus keeps coming up, where people are realizing a lot of the things that they were told, or sort of the snippets about history they were told, are just not true. And one of those is, where people just think that the Crusades were, these Muslims were just over there in their own land doing their thing, trying to invent calculus, singing Kumbaya.
Yeah,
and meanwhile, the mean old Christians came in and were just like, you stop being progressive, you people. And no.
So here's this exchange. Like they get into I want to see a whole show about this.
That
like,
guy needs a nap. I don't know who that is. Second to the
oh
right.
yeah, I
Holy
don't know.
moly.
But here, let's listen in.
And as for the cross that you talked about, yes, Deus Vult, which is the cross that he has, and the slogan that he has,
Deus Vult is
an old Christian cross. The phrase, however, was uttered by crusaders as they were slaughtering Jews and Muslims during the Second Crusade specifically. specifically. So it's not just a random cross.
That
it's
isn't,
not just
that
a
isn't
random
true.
phrase.
That isn't
it
true.
Is
The phrase that
it's
isn't
not
true.
true.
It is true. The phrase was uttered after the Council of Clermont when Pope Urban II declared the crusade. And it was actually probably Dieu le veut, but it's been rendered in Latin as Deus vult.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with slaughtering Jews.
It
has nothing to do with slaughtering Muslims because the Muslims had invaded Europe, not the other way around.
Oh my God, are you really saying that the reason the crusade, which was sent to the Holy Land to liberate the Holy Land, from whom? From Jews and Muslims?
No, from
and that
Muslims.
is a phrase that you have.
The Eastern, I'll tell you why the crusade began because the Eastern Emperor asked for help from the Western Pope because the Seljuk Turks were slaughtering Christians in the Holy Land because those lands were Christian before the Muslims invaded in the 7th century. So that's why.
No.
Yeah,
Those
good
crusades.
to know Michael's
Listen, those lands. I'm sorry. Those lands became Christian after the First Crusade. Okay.
No.
So let's be very clear.
Those were
If you want to talk
Christian
about the
in
Kingdom
the
of
first and
Jerusalem,
second centuries, and then the Muslims. Islam didn't exist before the 7th century. What are you talking about?
Okay, I can go, listen. I can go all day if you want to talk about the Crusades, but the point is, I
No, you
also
can't.
where people.
Maybe we should switch the
But
debate.
what that has.
Wow.
No, but that is that. I am not a Crusades expert, but that is a level of historical ignorance that is shocking. Shocking. And he's right though. It's like Deus. It's been popularly rendered Deus vult. It was probably French, not Latin before then. And yeah, what do you think? Do you think that is she under the impression that Muslims and Jews were living harmoniously in Jerusalem?
I don't know what she thinks.
That's what she
Honestly,
put out
from that. Like, I want to see Piers invite those two back. Let's have a debate, like a real debate.
Yeah, and again, there was the political aspirations of Pope Urban whenever the Crusades. You can debate about that, but there are tremendous tales of heroism and bravery and duty that come out of the Crusades. And yeah, there was plenty of bad.
And I think here's the conceit. The conceit is everything in Western civilization was nasty, brutish. Life was short. It was so backward and benighted until the progressives and liberals came along and everything got better. And it's just like, really?
Another tremendous reason why people need to watch that show American Primeval, because it mainly focuses around the conflict between the U.S. government and the Mormon settlers in the Utah area. And this was maybe 160 years ago, and the brutality of the Mormons in that time, because they would dress up like the Mountain Meadows Massacre, for instance. They kind of dressed like Indians, and they would engage in this so that they wouldn't get blamed for it. But they would just slaughter pioneers coming through Utah and try to blame it on the Indians. It's like this idea that humanity itself was sort of kind and altruistic. It's nonsense.
Barbaric. Always has been barbaric.
It's so barbaric, and especially in this time.
Man.
Saladin Reed, he was a great, terrific military leader, and he was involved in the Second Crusade. Brutal guy, though.
And I always get on the kick too of like, Game of Thrones, which I just finished with my grandfather. It is a disappointing end.
Yeah.
I still don't think it's as hysterical as everybody was, but it wasn't great. That said, folks like, Game of Thrones is so much like violence and sexuality and stuff. I'm like, have you ever read King Lear?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you could go back into like I think maybe Hamlet is going to be playing at the Alabama Shakespeare Festival in April. I'll be going to see it. Like, talk about an examination of human nature at kind of a crossroads in the middle of Christendom where everybody gets the biblical allusions, but then you're also starting to see that sort of Renaissance enlightenment start to grow. It's the perfect crossroads to see this examination of human nature, and I think it's more insightful than anything that's been written hardly in the 20th, 21st century.
I agree.
And so when you start thinking like that there are things that really did penetrate and understand the world and humanity better, like, how can you just write all this stuff off? There's been crime after crime after crime, war after war after war. I would never deny that. And some people are on the losing end of that. And it's pretty awful what certain tribes and certain nations have done to other tribes and other nations. But to think that, we just got rid of that because we passed a bunch of laws and all of a sudden we're more enlightened. No, I think you're missing a lot of the basics and that sort of naivety about it. And this idea of painting the Western man as the villain throughout history is going to lead you to catastrophe.
And you see that in the sort of mythologizing that's happened around most especially modern-ish conflicts, with sort of the conflicts that we had with Native Americans, even though people quibble with that, including me, but just so you know. Same thing with World War II, the Civil War, this sort of cartoonish picture that they draw of like good guy versus bad guy. If you read like the Iliad, the Odyssey, if you read anything from Homer, if you read anything from Plato, anything from Plutarch, you realize that is a dichotomy that they couldn't even really comprehend.
Right.
That didn't exist in their ethos. And so this silly, childish way that we have of looking at things it's so crazy. People, who was it? I can't remember who it was, but they mentioned Ireland as like this colonialist power, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what?
Right.
Just because they're white, you just assume they're the biggest victims in Europe, dude.
Right.
It's amazing.
We gotta hit this break. First, as part of the program, brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health, and they're at Montgomery Men's Health. They're ready to help you fellas out, especially if you've been experiencing the symptoms of low testosterone. That could be a whole basket of symptoms like lack of motivation, energy, and drive. You're physically and mentally tired all the time. No libido to speak of. No sex drive to speak of. Loss of muscle mass, somewhat weight gain. It's not like you're eating more. It's not like you're working out less. But those changes are still happening. Well, knowing whether you have low testosterone is huge in combating some of these issues, and the providers there at Montgomery Men's Health will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And at Montgomery Men's Health, here's the good news. They have low-T treatments that can truly change lives. And men, after treatment, can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. Brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, and you usually even notice an increased libido.
Nothing wrong with that.
Indeed. And you can actually book the same day that you call. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage.
And I'm Madeline Cannon. It's true, rates aren't as low as they have been for the past couple of years, but there are still many homeowners that could benefit from refinancing their current mortgage. There are a lot of things in life that are out of our control, but your mortgage rate is not one of them. If you currently have an adjustable rate mortgage, then you owe it to yourself to give us a call.
Adjustable rate mortgages make sense for some people in stable markets, but in this wild, ever-changing rate environment, it only makes sense to secure a fixed interest rate. A fixed interest rate will give you the peace of mind that your rate is locked. Your rate will not be subject to change with the political and economic tides.
At Alabama Home Mortgage, you can personalize your term. We offer 8-year to 30-year mortgages and everything in between. Grab your mortgage statement and give us a call.
Call Alabama Home Mortgage, the #1 mortgage lender in Alabama, today at 567-4223, or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. That's Alabama Home Mortgage, because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
Is your business feeling the heat of cyber attacks? Tired of worrying about ransomware, data breaches, downtime, and employee mistakes? GTI Managed IT Solutions has been your trusted partner since 1999, safeguarding and supporting businesses like yours from the ever-evolving threats in the digital world. GTI, your peace of mind is guaranteed. Call us today at 819-4650 or visit gtinow.com.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or
205-479-0839.
I see.
Yes, he is our preferred money man.
The money man with the money plan.
You've been paying attention.
Well, could you give us those numbers one more time?
334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man.
Oh, what's that?
I'm not an elk.
Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you?
Knights of Columbus.
I am not even going to make a comment.
Well, the baby liked it.
Hi, I'm Brian McMahon with Turf Stalkers. Within a few months of advertising with Blue Water, our customer base doubled. If you're looking for similar results, we highly recommend advertising with Blue Water.
Radio reaches over 90% of everyone in the river region. Shouldn't your ads be out there where your customers are? Call us to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of H&H Carpets, in stock specials on waterproof luxury vinyl plank and engineered hardwood flooring at blowout sale prices. H&H Carpet, across from Walmart on the Atlanta Highway.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. Our weather luck is about to run out. Big weather changes are on the way. We're dry through the evening hours tonight with the rain holding off till late tonight after midnight. Periods of rain overnight and Saturday, and ending Saturday evening with Saturday's high in the middle 60s. But then sharply colder Sunday with a high only in the mid-40s. We're down to the low 20s by Sunday night into Monday morning. Highs only in the mid-30s on MLK Day Monday. Then we're still looking at that possibility of some winter weather with a storm system moving across the south with the details still yet to emerge. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has digital banking solutions to help you keep up. Check balances, pay bills, and much more. Learn more at cbsbank.com. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for information. Member FDIC.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Jim real quick. Hey, Jim, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. I don't know if y'all discussed this, but this woman from Hawaii, Maisie Hirono.
Oh yeah.
What is her? What is she got? Some kind of fetish that she likes to ask people about their sexual escapades? I mean, I think she's asked about every single person that she's interviewed. She led off with the same type question. Have you ever done anything, harassed anybody? What's her point?
I don't know.
She is wacko.
Yeah, I mean, it was so leading. It literally was like, when did you stop beating your wife? Sort of question.
Yeah, she even asked. I mean, it's just, I don't know what her point is. Is she, what is she trying to do?
Maybe catch them in a lie because I know, or just create suspicion in general. Because
she even asked Chris Neum about her. I mean, what? I mean, I'm saying, what in the world?
Maybe she's projecting.
But
okay, yeah. For folks who haven't seen it, Jim, here's the clip that you're thinking about. Let me share this with the audience so we can all be on the same page here. This was with Doug Burgum's hearing. And here it is, folks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome. As part of my responsibilities to ensure the fitness of nominees before any of the committees on which I sit, I asked the following two initial questions. First is, since you became a legal adult, have you ever made unwanted requests for sexual favors or committed any verbal or physical harassment or assault of a sexual nature?
No, Senator, I have not.
Have you ever faced discipline or entered into a settlement related to this kind of conduct?
I have not.
Yep.
How many of those folks on that board can say that?
Yeah.
Hey, I got a good idea. Let's have every member of Congress stand up and answer that question.
They can't. Everyone would have to leave.
Including the senator
Yeah.
she replaced from Hawaii, and she was just quiet about it the whole time.
It's almost like
Identity
it's almost
politics.
like a prurient thing on her part. Like, oh, have you ever done? Where'd you do it? Yeah, it's just like, stop asking. It's weird.
I mean, I'll tell you one thing that these nominations, these nominations have showed me in the questioning by the the Senate is what a bunch of dumb people we've got up there.
Yeah, some of them are wicked smart. You can tell the real smart ones, but like Sheldon Whitehouse comes to mind. What a dum-dum. That guy. Oh my God, what an idiot.
I just, and then you wonder why the country's so screwed up.
Mm-hmm.
Look at some of the clowns that are up there running our government. Good Lord.
Well, I
the
appreciate
party's
it.
going to be over, folks, in about 3 days. So,
That's right.
Well, I'm looking forward to Monday. It should be quite a time. I appreciate it, Jim.
See you, Jim.
Yeah, and I got just flipping through different moments, all of the hearings this week, last night, just going to YouTube short clips. And there are some Democrats where I disagree with them, like Ron Wyden. I disagree with Ron Wyden on a lot of stuff, but I don't hate Ron Wyden, and I can actually listen to him ask somebody a question. Another guy, I don't agree with him a lot, but you can tell he's got a brain, is like Angus King from Maine.
Okay.
Like there's all sorts of folks up there that are plenty smart enough and they're not a-holes about it either. It's some of these folks that are, I don't know how you got elected, and you get out over your skis constantly. And I would say there are certain Republicans that definitely do that, where it's just like, really, man? Like, stop it with the fireworks.
But with that Hawaiian senator, when's the last time we see her during these things all the time. So I kind of feel like Hawaii sent her up here to give everybody in the U.S. lower 48 the big middle finger. They don't want us there anyway, and this is what you're going to have to deal with. Because look at her, man.
I think what it is she was in the legislature there, the state legislature forever.
Yeah.
And she's just been there forever, and she's got a name, and she ran for office and won. Like, it's really that simple. She worked her way through the party. I think
and
that's
she's
all
also
it is.
Hawaiian.
Hey, we got to hit one more break. Hopefully have Ray Bowles for Prattville Carpet on the other side.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hey guys, are you looking for a professional and reliable tree service company in the Montgomery and surrounding areas? Well, check out the folks at Tree Masters. It's a name you know and trust. From pruning to full tree removal, they'll even help you remove your shrubs. They service all of Central Alabama, including Lake Martin and Lake Jordan. Call them for a free quote today at 334-676-3638. That's 334-676-3638. Tree Masters.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice, News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off.
I got worms.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Closing moments here of the program. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Ray Bowles. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Hey, you're going to the inauguration Monday, right?
Going to what?
Aren't you going to the inauguration on Monday?
No.
No, we're going to celebrate here, though.
Okay, good. So Monday, I've actually got a procedure on Tuesday.
Okay.
A colonoscopy.
Ouch.
So here's the decision y'all have to make. If y'all want to call me at this time Monday, because by then I'm about 2 cups into that drink.
Yep. There'll be an echo in the room.
It's the most entertaining ad ever. If y'all decide, because if you call me, I will answer the phone.
Oh, I know that.
I'm not shy.
I mean, if you want to do that, we'll do it, Ray.
We better not. You better call.
Sure. Sounds like a wonderful opportunity.
And then today, me and Angie are actually in the truck going to Blue Ridge to see Emma.
Beautiful up there.
And Jacob, they bought a house. They just closed on it up here, so we're going to go help them with furniture this weekend. And, so, yeah, I'm not at the office, but everybody else is, and I won't be there Monday afternoon or Tuesday, but everybody else will be. And if you need a measurement or anything at all, please call 285-8117. If you want to be entertained, call me on my cell phone about 3 o'clock.
And again, that number is 285-8117. Good luck with all that, Ray, and have fun moving stuff, too. And,
well, the good thing is I get to eat what I want to this weekend. I'm not worried about calories.
You're right about that.
All right. Well, again, 285-8117. Appreciate it,
You too, Ray. See you, brother.
What did we learn today, gentlemen? Anything? That were all the isms and the phobias and all the stuff. Like I was thinking back on the show, thinking of like somebody's steeped in some left wing bubble. Like they're probably like, you monsters.
Oh, we get a lot of that.
Probably.
Yeah, you like it, right?
We learned that the Crusades are absolutely justified. That's what we did learn.
Yeah, for some reason, and is it wrong of me? Like when I think of some left wing person saying, you monsters, I think of that clip in Wayne's World where it's like, do I frighten you?
I've never seen Wayne's World.
Do you want me to?
That's a great movie.
I know it's on the list.
Oh, we got to see Wayne's World.
Hey, Ramaswamy running for governor
of Ohio. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's going to announce it. It's been he hadn't announced officially yet, but DeWine picked somebody other than Ramaswamy to fill J.D. Vance's open Senate seat, and so Ramaswamy's running for DeWine's job.
It's just frustrating, but okay.
Why? Why is that frustrating?
It's like we had a plan.
Yeah.
And you hit one little jackass in the road that wants a little something extra, and he's going to screw up the plan.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, this guy came out of nowhere. We'll go with the guy who's been through the process. Like,
Are you saying that he's installing proverbial liquor stores in the proverbial?
I will say that.
Well, on that drunken note, we have to get out of here. Happy Hour with Greg Bedell and Pamela. They're next. And sticking around,
from
too.
the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center. This is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Israel's full cabinet continues.